50s was found in Sligo town. His remains were discovered at an apartment on Connaughton Road in the town at around 10:30 last night. Gardaí say he had suffered significant physical injuries. It's the second suspicious death in Sligo since Monday, while there were also reports of an attack on another man in the town who was assaulted and lost an eye. However, it's unclear at this stage if any of the incidents are linked. The man in his early 20s is being held under Section 4 of the Criminal Justice Act. Sligo-based journalist Sorcha Crowley says he was arrested just before 2 o'clock this morning following intense Garda activity and backup.
A few hours ago, following what they describe as intense local Garda activity and inquiries, they arrested a man in his early 20s in Sligo town on suspicion of murder. They were also assisted by the Armed Support Unit. This man is being held at Sligo Garda Station, and they are now appealing for anyone with any information on this incident to make contact. Now, it's quite early at this stage to say if it's linked to the murder of Aidan Moffat or the earlier attack on a man in Sligo town at the weekend.
Meanwhile, Gardaí investigating the murder of Aidan Moffat in Sligo this week are examining if he may have met his killer online. It's also thought it may have a hate-related motive. The 41-year-old auctioneer was found dead at his house in Cartron Heights on Monday night and is said to have suffered significant physical injuries. Minister of State and Fine Gael TD Frank Feehan knew Aidan Moffat well. He says there's now a cloud of worry and fear hanging over Sligo.
The last few days have brought a huge concern, and again they're trying to come to terms what exactly has happened. That a man died violently, and last night another man died violently, and again last weekend a young man lost his eye in 3 incidents, which I don't know are linked, but the level of violence is absolutely shocking.
The cost of gas and electricity is set to fall when Cabinet sign off on a number of measures aimed at reducing fuel bills this morning. The package will see a cut to the VAT charged on electricity and gas down to 9%, though not petrol, diesel and home heating oil. A man has been arrested following the death of an elderly woman at a house fire in County Donegal. The body of the woman in her 80s was found after emergency services attended the blaze in Duherry yesterday afternoon. A man in his 60s has been arrested for criminal damage offences and is being held at Ballyshannon Garda Station. And there's calls for an urgent meeting over coastal erosion in Inishowen. The ongoing issue is said to be of major concern in the Lag, Kildare and Ballyliffin areas. Councillor Martin McDermott has proposed a meeting to be held with the relevant department in a bid to find a pathway forward. He says despite numerous attempts to engage with the relevant bodies, the matter seems to be falling on deaf ears.
I just feel, and I've felt this for quite some time, that the department and the OPW have no interest whatsoever in dealing with the coastal erosion issues that we have here in Donegal. They've made it quite clear by not replying to emails and not replying to requests for a meeting. The Minister came to the county 14 months now. We've been trying to get a meeting. He came to the county 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago and still hasn't offered a hand to come here to any show.
Low clouds slow to clear this morning, but it will give way to some sunny spells, but will linger near some coasts. While many areas will stay dry, there will be a few scattered showers about, mild with temperatures of 13 to 16 degrees. That's it for now. We're back with more at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
COVID-19 can still cause serious illness, especially in people at higher risk. We need to keep protecting each other. So stay home if you have symptoms. Wear a mask in healthcare settings, public transport and busy places. Let fresh air in if you're meeting indoors. Keep hands clean. And get a COVID-19 vaccine and booster. Let's keep looking out for each other. From the HSE, for us all.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning to you. 5 minutes past 9 this Wednesday the 13th of April. How are you doing? Hope you're doing very well indeed, and stick with us for the next 3 hours and beyond here on Highland Radio. Still have dozens and dozens of comments from our conversations yesterday to bring to you. Looking forward to doing so. Lots of different views in there on the issue of turf. A big reaction actually to our conversation on the National Anthem yesterday, and much more as well. And we've a whole new raft of topics for you to get involved with. How do you do so? Well, you WhatsApp or text 086 60 25,000. If you're outside the Republic, by the way, worth noting, wherever you might be watching or listening to us from, 0035386 60 25,000. Of course, on WhatsApp, you'll incur no charge there. If you want to give us a call, it's 07491 25,000. Michaela is in for Caroline today, answering your calls. Right, so we've got business news coming up for you later on. We're going to be getting the latest on the big crackdown on the Kinahans. Quite a remarkable story. We'll be hopefully getting an update on the situation in Sligo, and also we're going to be looking at the MICA redress process. People experiencing delays in that regard, and what is effectively, you could say, a stalled process. So if you want to get involved, you know how to do so. If you want to just sit back, relax and listen, feel free to do that too. And also, if you want to watch the programme and our guests as they join us, get on to our website, highlandradio.com. You should see the link to watch live there, or go straight to YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, or Facebook, Highland Radio. There's a Twitter option there for you as well. The papers this morning, starting with the Finn Valley Voice. 23 children and 28 adults from Kiev, Odessa, Chernobyl, Kharkiv, I beg your pardon, and other Ukrainian cities, having fled Russia's invasion, have been warmly welcomed in the Finn Valley. They are living in Roseville House, Glenfinn Street, Ballybofey, since the 31st of March. And there's a full story there in and on the front of that paper today. The Donegal Post, excuse me. The Donegal Post, a group of young Donegal teenagers attending a concert were left stranded on the streets of Dublin when Bus Éireann cancelled the 12:35am bus. The 7 teenagers from South Donegal had booked their return tickets. They only found out that the bus was not running when they came out of the concert. Councillor Niamh Kennedy, who raised the issue at Tuesday's meeting of the Municipal District of Donegal, said one of them had an email on his phone to say the bus was cancelled. They were heading towards Bus Éireann after the concert, and the story goes on. And it seems, I wonder, well, it doesn't seem, I do wonder though, is this something unique to Donegal, these bus cancellations inside of and to or from Donegal using the Bus Éireann service, or is this something that's happening all around the country? It'd be interesting to find that out. The front of the Inish Times, they have ruined our community in Mallinhead, and it's going to take somebody to get lost. One of us is going to get lost before anything is done. This was the grim prediction of Mallinhead skipper of the Phelan Namara fishing vessel, Anthony Harley. He was referring to the fact Greencastle is the peninsula's only designated port for boats under 15 metres fishing non-quota species. This means boats belonging to Inishowen skippers and registered in the north can only land there between 2pm and 8pm from Monday to Friday. On to the Nationals now. The Irish Independent, not good news if you're hoping for a reduction in the cost of your home heating oil, not through the markets but through government, because families who primarily heat their homes with oil will miss out on cuts to energy VAT rates aimed at alleviating the cost of living. The government will today announce plans to cut VAT on electricity and gas to ensure homeowners are not affected by the upcoming environmental tax increase. Can you imagine the government itself having to offset an increase it's bringing in itself? And all with our money. However, it was unable to secure a deal with the EU to allow it to also reduce VAT on home heating oil. This means the proposed carbon tax increase will add €19.40 to the cost of a 900 litre tank of kerosene next month. So that's a significant increase on top of increases already. Government leaders aren't out a deal that will cut VAT on electricity and gas from 13.5% to 9%. Families are still facing an almost €20 increase in their energy bill next month, despite government commitments to offset carbon tax increases. But the VAT move could save bill payers €49 a year on electric and €61 a year on gas, and will cost the Exchequer around €75 million before the end of this year. So I think many of us rely on oil, don't we? Or we're trying to rely less on it, but we're forced to. It was really quite a remarkable situation yesterday when Gardaí and others held a press conference to outline their case and sanctions against the Kinahans because they've been untouchable. Daniel Kinahan particularly, he has been pushing his profile big time. You could say he's washing his profile using boxing to do so, trying to portray himself as a legitimate businessman. And you would have had boxers like Billy Joe Saunders, Tyson Fury, and many others, Bob Arum amongst them as well, I think, who would have come out and said that he's a great guy, he's great for boxing. You'd have had the big guys too, like Eddie Hearn of Matchroom, Frank Warren of Queensberry, all working with him and defending working with him, saying that, and they wouldn't have said it, but the general conversation on social media and elsewhere would have been that, he's not been convicted of anything. He's good for the sport. He looks after boxers and all that type of stuff. Conlon out of Belfast also was being represented or at least was connected to MTK, which was in some way connected to Kinahan, though he distanced himself from it. So all the while, he's out in Dubai living the life of a respected businessman. He was out in India a couple of years ago, not too long ago actually as well, where he was hailed for what he's doing in the sport. And now, like something out of the Wild West, there is a reward poster up for him, $5 million for information relating to his arrest or conviction. It really is quite a remarkable turnaround for him and the Kinahans in general. And it leaves boxing particularly, I think, in a difficult place because he is intertwined within and an awful lot of people deleting tweets yesterday in defence of him and so on and so forth. So a lot to come out on this, but I'll read the story anyway. And to be honest with you, as someone who enjoys boxing, I'm delighted to see him separated out from the sport. It was always a niggle in the back of my head. But it seems now that he won't have much involvement, if any at all, because if you do business with him now or businesses he's associated with, you are breaking an embargo. The authorities in the United Arab Emirates will now feel under increasing pressure to support the international criminal investigation into the Kinahan cartel after the United States offered a reward of up to $15 million for information that leads to the arrest or conviction of 3 senior members. Assistant Commissioner John O'Driscoll, who has led the Garda's fight against the Kinahans and other associates, said the cartel had generated about $1 billion by leaving addiction and violence in its wake. He added they had done this in many working class communities, which were the stronghold of the sport of boxing, which Daniel Kinahan was seeking to control. 7 of the cartel's key figures, 6 of whom are based in Dubai, and 3 companies linked to them have so far been placed on a US Department of Treasury sanction list. It means they are effectively locked out of the US banking system and cannot trade with people or companies in the US. So the Kinahans now, the 3 named, no debit cards, no credit cards. They can't get on US planes. They can't come into Europe. Obviously, they can't go into the United States. And the United Arab Emirates have given up 2 other characters, let me put it like that, who were alleged to be involved in criminality because of the UAE wanting to have a good reputation and to endear itself to the United States. So I would not be surprised if we see at least Daniel Kinahan before Irish courts before the end of this year. All right, as I say, we should have more on that for you a little later on. The Irish Daily Mail, Gardaí are investigating the gruesome murder of a Sligo Fine Gael activist as a possible hate crime, and they've warned people to be extra cautious when using online dating. Officers last night confirmed that they are investigating whether Aidan Moffat met his killer online. Sligo councillors said the community is in fear after the appalling discovery of Mr Moffat's body at his home. He's known to have contacted people online after going to a local pub on Sunday night. Gardaí believe he was killed sometime afterwards by someone he let into his home, as there was no sign of forced entry to the house. Now, of course, since the papers went to press most of them, there has been another apparent killing in Sligo, which seems very similar in relation to this. In other words, the person was found with gruesome with gruesome injuries as described by Gardaí. A man in his early 20s has been arrested in relation to the latest murder, but certainly a lot of fear and anxiety and upset and concern in Sligo, I am sure. There was terror in America, in Brooklyn yesterday. 10 commuters were shot and 6 others injured after a gunman opened fire in New York subway during morning rush hour yesterday. The attacker, a man in a gas mask and wearing an orange construction vest, who let off a canister, was still being hunted last night. 5 people were in a critical but stable condition. The incident happened at the 36th Street station in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. One witness said so many rounds were fired that she lost count. She added the man, about 5'5" tall, dropped a cylinder that sparked. Graphic photos on social media showed injured people lying on the blood-stained platform. Now, remarkably, given the amount of shots that were fired, or maybe it's relating to the weapon, I don't know, everyone who was shot and injured is expected to make a full physical recovery. But the hunt is still on for that person. Boris Johnson, well, you would say he should not, in any normal circumstances, be in trouble, but he's not. He has been fined. He's the Prime Minister of Britain and has broken the law effectively, and life moves on, it seems, over there. Boris Johnson faced furious calls to quit last night after it was found he did break the law over a number 10 party lockdown. During lockdown, he became the first sitting PM to face a police penalty when he was fined over his birthday get-together. Outraged bereaved relatives of COVID victims accused him of taking the public for mugs, as it was revealed that Met Police also fined his wife Carrie and Chancellor Rishi Sunak, who's in bother generally speaking. But shameless Mr Johnson snubbed pleas for him to go, instead offering a heartfelt apology. And this is a wee bit that's wrong with the press, I think, at the moment, or it's always been the case, because I was looking at some of the front pages of the British newspapers yesterday, and in one front page it was like, you know, with everything's going on, this is no big deal, let Boris get on with his work. And on another front page it was like, this is the worst thing ever, you know, he should be kicked out of office. And I think, you know, we should move past the stage now where newspapers try and tell people how to think. And I'm not talking about all newspapers, but particularly in Britain, and you see it in the Nationals here to some extent. Write your bloody stories and let the public make up their own mind. Stop trying to tell people how to think. But that's precisely what they do. The Irish Sun, like all papers today, they also have a front page that's done out like a Wild West wanted poster. But sure, look at the one published by the Gardaí yesterday. Is not far off that itself. And the story, exiled Kinahan cartel chiefs are on the run from the US government after it slapped a mighty $15 million bounty on their heads. Kingpin Daniel Kinahan, his brother Charlie Jr., 41, and Dad Christie, 65, have also been hit with sanctions aimed at crippling the vicious gang. Those include bans on using US banks and taking US flights. The extraordinary move was announced in Dublin yesterday by US Ambassador to Ireland, Claire Cronin. And they were very pointed, direct and clear in what they were trying to achieve with their comments. Right, before we go to a break, I want to catch up on some of your comments yesterday. We've been discussing it for a couple of days now. And this is the fact that, it is reported that cut and turf for your own personal use on your own bog is not at this time going to be outlawed. But what is, these are the proposals, is that if you were to cut turf and sell it, banned. If you were to cut turf and give it to your neighbour, give it to your friend, give it to your son-in-law, whomever it might be, banned. But in the now to some of your comments, if the EU... Is the EU making the rules on turf? It's crazy our government is complying to this nonsense. The way it's going is if a neighbour knocks on my door some morning looking for a bit of milk or sugar until they can't get to the shop and you tell them, sorry, I can't, it's against the law. Now, I mean, that sounds crazy and it will never happen. One would hope it would never happen, but you would never have thought giving someone a bag of turf would be illegal, would you? Do they cut turf in Kerry? I wonder what the Healy Rays view on the turf war is. Another, so I can give my neighbour a bottle of whiskey or any liquor, but not a bag of turf. Waking up, government. Another caller said, it's no wonder they call the Irish stupid. It's a real laugh. I think the Irish government forgot about the Irish people. Who calls us stupid? I hope they don't. Are you seriously saying someone can't give their elderly parents a few bags of peat? Time to get rid of Eamon Ryan before he ruins us all. Unfortunately, that is effectively what is being proposed now. The local Green Party chairperson said that this was one independent TD's take on it, but Eamon Ryan's had 3 or 4 days now to dispel any mistruths, and he hasn't taken the opportunity to do so. A caller says, I can cut for myself, but I can't give them to Granny. Yep, that's the situation. I don't see many going around giving free turf to the neighbours. That comes in from James. Well, James, it happens, and it's not just neighbours, it's family and friends. It does happen. I've seen it myself. Why was there no threat of legal action against Dublin Corporation when they introduced a smoky coal ban? The Green Party continued to press the self-destruct button, they will be wiped out like the dinosaurs at the next election. Another caller says, over the last few years since the arrival of large turf cutting machines, huge amounts of turf are easily accessible, resulting in huge amounts of bogs being removed. Many people who cut turf have no right to be there because they don't have turbidity rights, i.e. be a registered landowner. This has led to a lot of tension in some bogs where people take a chance and cut turf when they've got no legal rights and encroach on legal owners. Good morning, Greg. Many hotels, traditional pubs in Donegal burn open turf fires. Does this now mean they can't turf now? Well, unless they have their own bogs, but theoretically, yes, they couldn't buy the turf for their fires, or they couldn't even be gifted it. But they go on to say, as purchasing for anything else, bar self-use will be illegal. From speaking to friends who work in hotels, this is something tourists absolutely love. It's a tradition and nostalgic throwback to our wonderful heritage that tourists come here for. Obviously, home heating for families is more important than this aspect, but look, it's worth that pointing out. Thank you. Hi, Greg. A similar story to your previous texter re turf burning. What a load of tosh from the Green Party. Turf is not harmful to health. My father cut his own turf for around 50 years and even supplied 2 lorry loads every year for us, as well as 8 of his children went to school. My parents lived to be over 90 and neither they nor any of us, his 8 children, have or had asthma, and we are still alive and well. Pure rubbish that turf burning is detrimental to health. Look, I appreciate that's your personal experience, but I mean, I know people that smoked and lived well into their 80s and didn't die of smoking, but that doesn't mean smoking isn't dangerous. But listen, I'm glad that your family is healthy and hearty, and long may that continue. Right, we also talked yesterday about the afterlife, and I want to read a couple of comments on that. We were chatting to a lady who says she is a medium, that she's a healer, and we teased out what she believed to be the ins and outs of the afterlife. But this caller says, it's so good to hear this discussion about the afterlife. People love this topic but are reluctant to chat about it. Another, I thought when our soul left our body, it went to another level. How can a soul talk if it's left the body? Well, it's the spirit that talks, and I don't think if you believe what she believes, and I'm not saying I do, I don't think it's one or other. I don't think it precludes them from going to another level. Right, how do we tell what is a good spirit visiting us and an evil spirit in disguise visiting for harm? Greg, please ask your guest about the afterlife of abortion. Well, you know, I know where you're coming from, but this one person texts the same an awful lot about the same issue, and I get that, where they want to frame abortion in all conversations, and I understand that. But I'm not. I got that question after she was on. You could ask the same of miscarriages, of course. Does she believe that those who take a life as a murder, another is forgiven or spends eternity in hell? There didn't seem to be evil people or people that go to hell in her in her interpretation. I once heard an interview with an ex-medium. She said the spirits were demons pretending to be past loved ones. It came to light when she attended Catholic Mass. Her spirit guides revealed their real identity to her in anger. And finally, I do believe that family come back to visit you often. And that's really, if you get comfort from that and you believe it and you can sense it, well, that's I think that's comforting. Okay, back with more after these.
Since she got her free hearing aids with her PRSI at Specsavers, Rasheen is a changed woman. Music has never sounded better, and that makes her dance. And dance. And dance. Her singing, though, well...
Free hearing aids with PRSI at Specsavers. Music to your ears. Find out more online. Terms and conditions apply.
For a great early season lawnmower deal, visit Gartley Sales and Hire. Exclusive stockists of Stiga in the Northwest. Mowers, trimmers and hedge trimmers. Full trade and service available at Gartley Sales and Hire, Gartley, Letterkenny. Call 9126276.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system, and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
The Michael English Celebration Tour comes to the Millennium Forum Derry on Wednesday, May 11th. Come and join Michael and his super band for a spectacular musical extravaganza. A brand new tour, his best yet. Celebrate once again with a night of non-stop sing-along favourites, covering all his hits and more. It's a show you simply won't want to miss. For more, see millenniumforum.co.uk or michaelenglish.ie.
Hello, Grace. Where are you heading?
Down to Made to Measure Fireplaces in Creasla.
Made to Measure Fireplaces? Didn't you just buy a fireplace there?
Yeah, but I'm going now to pick my kitchen worktop.
Create the kitchen and living room of your dreams at Made to Measure Fireplaces and Granite Worktops. They've been in business for over 40 years. So for help choosing granite or quartz for your worktop, fireplace or stove, visit the Made to Measure showroom at Cashel, Creasla, or see mtmfireplaces.com or on Facebook.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp, that's the text. 086 60 25,000. Or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. Can you ask your listeners, when does the fuel allowance stop? Thank you. Anyone with that answer, please get it into us. Another, hi Greg, have you any idea when we will get the €99 for fuel allowance? That should be outlined. That should be announced today. Right. I hope Eileen Doherty can hear me. Can you hear me okay, Eileen?
Just give me 2 seconds.
No, okay. She just can't hear me there at the moment. So we'll let her go through her settings. And we're waiting also for Jack Murray to join us on the telephone line as well. He'll be joining us very shortly because we're going to be teasing out some of the issues with the MICA scheme at the moment, particularly as it relates for payments to be made. Just on to the issue of the anthem. The Irish National Anthem is grossly offensive to the Ulster Protestant community. Anyone who believes in a reunited Ireland, as I do, knows that the current National Anthem will have to be ditched before or upon reunification. That comes in from Sen in St Johnston. Another caller says, a real national anthem, just ordered 2 books as gifts. A fabulous idea. They are lovely books. We were talking to the author yesterday of these books, which are directed towards children. They give a bit of an outline, a history to the national anthem. It's nicely illustrated. And the conversation was going along the lines that, are we doing enough really to promote the use of it? Line 1's not working, Michaela, so you have to put him through to line 2. Greg, I totally agree with your author. Every single child should be taught the national anthem in school, and certainly should be taught it in secondary school. Every class assembly should start with it to instill pride in our country, but the way things are going in this country, that will be the next thing banned in case we offend other nationalities in this country. But you see, that's the problem. Why should that be offensive? When a shared Ireland is obtained, we may need to create a new national anthem, says a caller. That's on the table, I believe. I've heard discussions of it. Greg, did I see you stand to attention for our national anthem? Another, hi Greg, 50 of us in the car today knew every word of the national anthem. There was 2 of us, but 50 sounds better. Okay, well, sure, look at 100%'s 100%, isn't it? Greg, I only know the national anthem in Irish, and I haven't a word of Irish. I'm 55 years old and still don't have a clue what it means. Why was I not taught this in English? We'll get that book and you will see it for yourself. Right. Eileen Doherty, can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah. Thanks, Greg.
Well, thank you. The heart moved across my chest there. Couldn't hear you the first time, but it's good to have you with us. Also, we have the Caerloch of Donegal County Council, Councillor Jack Murray, online with us as well. Good morning to you, Jack.
Morning, Greg.
All right, thanks for joining us. Eileen, I'll start with you at the moment. What is the status of the scheme before we start talking about delays and any confusion? It's a stalled scheme at the moment, is it?
Well, the situation with the scheme at the minute is that the expert group who are tasked with reviewing the final enhancements to the scheme have submitted the report to the Minister, and the Minister is considering their report, and then he will bring that forward then to legislation over the next short while. So we're hoping that that's going to be a very fast process.
Okay, so we'll wait and see in that regard. Now, a lot of people seem to be having issues in terms of receiving payments. Can you talk to us as to what the general experience is being?
Yeah, well, there's a number of different delays that's happening at the minute. And really, there's a couple of delays in terms of the application process first. So people who have submitted for stage 1, which is eligibility to the scheme, there's a huge amount of people who have got caught up in the backlog and their applications are just sitting there. Now, there's an issue with, as we spoke about a few weeks ago, Greg, the emergence of another mineral called pyrrhotite. And in some of the applications where pyrrhotite is a key issue, in fact, the key issue that warrants, say, demolition, those applications have been stalled until that protocol is revised, which we kind of understand that until they understand it more. But there's lots of other applications at stage 1, which are basically based on their mica content and on the existing protocol. They should not be stalled. There's nothing to suggest that they should be stuck in the system. And there's absolutely lots of them that are. We don't believe that this is a directive from the department. We believe that this is an issue at the local authority level. And really, to be quite honest with you, it's unacceptable. And then in the situation that I'm in, which is stage 2, which I have already got stage 1 eligibility, I put it in costs for my rebuild in the middle of November last year, and was promised that it would be 6 to 8 weeks, which is by the middle of January, I would have approval to go ahead and get the home remediated and demolished and rebuilt. I'm sitting here 22 weeks later, still nothing. Every time I ring the department, the council, I get told it's with technical. Every time I ask to speak to technical, I'm not allowed to. It's absolutely a joke. Families, and there's not just me. I mean, Pamela and Kieran the Master and McLaughlin from Miledo are waiting 9 months at stage 2. I mean, they are one of the first families to be affected. The roof is caving in their house. I just do not understand what the issue is and why these applications are delayed.
Councillor Murray, have you been able to get any explanation? I mean, that's why we have elected representatives, presumably to engage with to engage with the council executive and to get these answers. It shouldn't be too difficult for you to tell us precisely why these delays are such.
Yeah, look, that's fair enough, and I suppose that is my job. I'm the chairperson of the council, so my job is to try and seek solutions to these problems. First off, I would say it's totally unacceptable. I'm not going to come on here and be an apologist either for the council or the department for any delays. Nobody should be waiting 9 months.
So what's causing the delays?
As I would understand it, and I know what Eileen's saying, that it's with the council, the information given to me is that there's delays within the confines or the guidelines of the department that the council have to work within, because the council are merely administering a department scheme and they have to work within the guidelines of that. What I've said is there's a lot of applications that are coming in partially incomplete, further information necessary.
But some of the people are finding it very frustrating that they've provided all of the information and then they're being requested to provide additional information, or that information. I feel that some people feel that they're being deliberately frustrated in this.
Well, see, quite clearly there's a gap there. It's purely evident there that there's a gap, that there's something gone wrong there. So what I've asked, and I spoke to a number of council officials, I've asked that rather than an application coming in, sitting with the council for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, going back to the engineer for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, coming back, more information being needed and bouncing to and fro, that we would have a system like a pre-planning system where the council will go out, sit with the engineer with a very stringent checklist saying, if you don't have all this information, that can't proceed. Sit down, be an hour, 2 hours, talk through the entire process, make sure that every single piece of information is complete, and then move forward and hopefully remove that painful delay and unacceptable delay that has existed.
Would that resolve your delay issue, Eileen, a move like that?
Well,
I presume are you not satisfied that all the documents you have in are T's crossed, I's dotted?
Well, I can only say that I have full confidence in my engineer, my architect, and the QS who put the application together. The issue I have, and I mean, what Jack has suggested obviously would be a help, but what the issue I have is that they took 10 weeks to ask me the questions in the first place. So why 10 weeks before they worked out that there was insufficient information? Let's just say that they needed more information. Now it's another 12 weeks since I provided them with that information. So I totally and utterly don't accept that this has been pushed back to the engineers. I'm sure in some instances that may be the case. But if I'm honest with you, I think it's a cop-out. I think that there's an issue with resource, if I'm honest.
Well, let me ask that, because obviously Jack Moore is the Cahirlock of Donegal County Council. How many staff within the council are working in processing these applications?
Full time as well. Can we ask the question?
Full time.
Part-time. Yeah.
I'm not sure that this moment in time, but I can get that.
Do you think you should know that, Jack, with all due respect to you?
I should, but I asked the question last night, were they properly resourced? Was talking to the engineer. He said they were fully resourced, but further than that, he said that there's a panel of staff ready to be recruited at any moment that they're needed. Now, given what Eileen is saying, that clearly should happen right away. So if there's not enough staff and there's staff available and the resources available, then that needs to be employed.
Like, it's kind of frustrating because listen, I've nothing to do with this, but I know I asked the question at least it could be 6 months ago that do the council have the staff to be able to process these applications, and everyone seemed to be saying that they do or they will, and yet here we are.
Well, I'll tell you now, the council told me they have enough. Clearly what Eileen is saying is that they don't. They're telling me that they've a panel that staff can be taken from. I'm concerned more that there's an average of 60 new applications coming in every month. So whatever bulk of work is there now, it is increasing exponentially.
You see, what concerns me a little bit, Jack, is you're saying that what you're being told is that the council are trying to do the work, but it's operating within the Department of Housing, and that's what's causing delays. And then you're saying, but the council don't have enough staff. Is it both things or one or other?
No, I'm saying that the council said they have enough staff, but clearly what Eileen is articulating there is that they don't. So I'm saying that there's staff available, additional resources available, and what I'll be saying now to the council is employ more staff. If the staff are there, bring them in. The work's going to get more. It's increasing month on month, so it's going to get heavier and heavier. So we clearly need more staff.
Do you know if any elected representatives has contacted Dara O'Brien's department and said, look at the way the housing department is dealing with this issue, it's slowing it down, it's frustrating, will you do something about that? Do we know, and you're not going to know, Jack, obviously, if any of what all other politicians are doing, but do we know if those representations have been made that that department is being put under pressure, being called out publicly to say that you're frustrating this process?
Yeah, well, I know that I facilitated a meeting fully on MICA where every councillor was able to bring forward their concerns, which would be raised with the Parliament. Further to that, in the week after next, there's a meeting lined up between council officials and the Department where we'll be teasing through these problems. I will be attending that meeting, and I will be, again, relaying all these concerns directly with the Department, as well as it being relayed through the council via that meeting. So we are doing everything we can. It's important. I live in Buncrana, which is the epicentre of the MICA crisis. So everywhere I look, there's houses falling down. All my friends, family, you can't escape it. Within Donegal County Council, including the staff that are dealing with these
we're all in the same boat. We all know these people, and all have friends and family
members,
affected
staff,
by it.
Everybody have it. So we're all on one page. I'm not going to come in here defend any delay or say any delay is acceptable. That's clearly not what I'm going to do. I want to work with Eileen, who's an extremely tenacious and professional woman who's fought this campaign for 10 years. I see my role as working with Eileen, with everybody who has these problems, to get a solution. And I think that's one thing that we're all completely in agreement with. Recognise the problems that's there, and then let's work together to fix it, because it's clearly not working. It's clearly not acceptable.
Eileen, did you want to come back in there?
Yeah, I suppose thanks to that, Jack, for that. I suppose the key thing is to say about the resource issue. Last June, when we were in the working group, we asked specifically to the department, can you ensure that there's sufficient resource? They said that they approved resource at that time to make sure that we were getting up and running and that the council had sufficient resource. My understanding is that they haven't even availed of that. I just do not understand. I mean, to ring up constantly and get told, it's with technical, you're at the back of the queue, you know there's people in front of you, that all suggests to me that there is an issue with resource. All of those things, there's people in front of you. Well, if you had lots of resource, there wouldn't be an issue about queues. And this has been going on for 22 weeks. And as I say, Pamela and Kieran McLaughlin, the master from Nightingale, 9 months. I mean, I don't know what we need to say besides this, their system is broken.
See, Councillor, you know how you say that, we're all in this together. The council are affected by this. Everyone's affected by this and all that. If it is the case, but all of this information should be laid out there, right? We shouldn't have to guess or speculate or whatever. If the situation is as you described, that everyone's affected, brothers, sisters, council staff, everyone, why is everything not out in the open? Why are we really having this conversation? And we don't truly, really know what the situation is. If the situation is as you describe, we should know everything, even if it's not pleasant. Let us know it. Let us fix it.
Yeah, look, that's extremely fair. Nobody's going to disagree with that. But I would say that meeting that we had, the special meeting on MICA, in which there was wide-ranging concerns across the board on the MICA scheme, were articulated or questioned by the councillors. I got confirmation this morning that all questions, good, bad, or whatever, is going to be published. I'll have them this afternoon. I'm happy to send that on to yourself. You can publish it on your website, and that'll be in its entirety, the information from the council's position. Now, we can see what that's. I haven't read the document, but we can see what it's like, and we can decide what we do with it, how we progress with it. But you're right, people deserve information. Obviously, it's a public scheme that affects.
Yeah, I mean, Eileen and the other couple that you mentioned should be told exactly what the problem is, exactly what the date is. You know, if you book a passport, you're told a rough estimate as to when your passport will be issued. It's not always accurate, but it gives you some idea. And that happens with NCTs, whatever way you interact, you're given some indication. What's happening here is people are being, it sounds to me, being fobbed off. That's certainly how it must feel for them.
Yeah, and can I just make a point? I'm sorry for coming in there, Jack, just to give you an idea how the impact of not having that timeline. We were told 6 to 8 weeks in mid-November. That would have brought us till about the middle of January. We then went out and tried to procure a house because, as you know, houses are few and far between at the minute and on the show. So we got a house set up for the start of February. So we have been paying €850 a month since the end of January, start of February. On top of our mortgage, we have double the bills because we haven't even been able to get our ESB disconnected in the house. And that is costing us every month €850. Until we're approved, we don't even know if we're eligible to get those back under the new scheme. So the delay every week is costing us a serious amount of money and a serious amount of stress. And people would say, well, why did you go ahead? We went ahead because we were promised that this would be sorted by the middle of January at the latest, and we moved at the start of February. We had the house agreed, so we had to go ahead. These are the kind of things that every time I ring up and get told it's with technical, you feel your blood boiling because you think you've no idea how this is impacting people. Do you understand, Greg? So this is a very serious issue, and the council seem at arm's length to these issues with us, and they need to sort it out. And if it is a resource issue, or if it's an issue with the department, we need to be told and not keep getting told that it's with technical, which means absolutely nothing to anyone. Which is a fair, if we're all in it together, which is a fair request, I think. Rasheen Gallagher joins us as well. Rasheen, thanks for joining us. Good morning to you. Rasheen, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just unmuting, sorry.
No problem.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, what's your situation? You're at stage 1.
I'm at stage 1, and I have it kind of written down here because it's a very detailed situation, so I want to keep it really short and try and be as concise as I can. So I'm at stage 1 for 22 months. Now, I did get approved. I did get my refund. And I engaged with the scheme in June 2020. It was when I first engaged with the scheme. So there was no questions asked. There was no request for further information. I was recommended outer leaf repair only, and the whole thing was done and dusted by November. Completely done. But I disagreed with the recommendation from day one, and especially when the results of the lab came back and it turned out my outer leaf is stronger than my inner leaf. So I'm not an engineer, but to me that said, you know, you can't repair an outer leaf only when you're leaving the rest of the house with mica in it. So I was never happy with the recommendation, but I trusted the professionals. I entered the scheme in good faith. I let it go ahead against my better judgment. And it wasn't long after that I kept asking my engineer, could I resubmit this report, because this was a mistake. It should never have gone through. I will say that when the lab results came back and we discovered that the inner leaf was stronger than or was weaker than the outer leaf, I have big questions as to why that was approved in the first place. Why did that go through approval? Because there was no measurements of any cracks taken in my house, and so there were no requests for further information when the application itself was flawed, the report was flawed. So I don't understand how all these requests for further information are vitally important at some parts, but they're not important at all for others. So this is way back in June 2020, so I'll just get on with it. In November 2020, I was approved. Then I'm still waiting for John Gallagher to get back to me of the council since January of this year for an explanation as to why that was approved. May 2021, I finally got my engineer to agree to redo my report and resubmit my report. So my home had deteriorated greatly in that time, in the course of a year. But the engineer wasn't coming back out to my house to, I knew that we needed measurements taken. We needed to get a record of the bowing on the walls. We needed to get photographs of the crumbling block after the render had fallen off. And my engineer didn't want to come out and do that. So I did that myself. So I went out with the spirit level. I actually used my daughter's LOL ruler. It was the only ruler I had in the house, and I measured the cracks myself. I got the crumbling block onto my hand. I took photographs of all of it, the spirit level up at the gable wall, and photographed all that and sent it to my engineer. I waited and waited, and the report was never, that I was always at the back of the queue, and the person was very busy, all the rest. So in August 2021, I had no option. After speaking to Engineers Ireland and trying to get this moved on, I did work then changed to a different engineer. So my report went in. My second submission of my report went in October 2021. There was no need for further coring or anything like that because the results were already there and already evident. And during all this time, I had got advice from a few different engineers and an architect, and they looked at my report and the results, and it should have always been option 1, full demolition, group 4, and the visual estimate of pyrite and sulfide minerals is between 2 and 3% in my property. So it should have always been option 1. So it's very confusing to me how that approval went through the first time. So I changed engineers. My report is in since October 2021. In March, I discovered that a small batch of reports. So I've been told that I don't need to wait for any alteration or any information from changes for my S465. It's very straightforward. I was in a group. I was told a group of 300 or 350 people who are just waiting for approval. It doesn't need any legislation or any changes with IS465. It's there. All the evidence is there. Approval for option 1. But in March 2022, March of this year, I discovered that a small batch of applications have been sent to the department for further analysis. So unluckily for me, I am one of those people. So that means now that I am on the scheme 22 months, but I do have to wait possibly another 12 months before I even enter stage 2.
Right, okay. So just so we're clear, stage 1 is, what is stage 1? Maybe Eileen, do you want to run
Eligibility.
So in other words, your house is Micah, something needs to be done.
Eligibility just means that you're eligible to apply, that it's your principal private residence.
Right, so stage 2 then?
Costing,
and stage 3?
You're in the process of remediating.
Okay. Councillor Murray, listening to Rasheen's story there, I mean, that's completely unacceptable. I mean, the torture of Micah is bad enough without without being compounded as it is.
Yeah, I'm well aware of Rasheen's problem. I know Rasheen fairly well. She's been contacting me throughout this process, and it's extremely painful on top of everything else, that she's going through. So what she's articulating to is an emerging and more widespread problem that we're coming across, and that it's an evolving situation. This time last year, I think 30 to 35% of applications were for full demolition. Right now, it's 90 to 95%. So it's clearly changing. I think there's in the region of 60 to 70 applications have changed from say option 2 or 3 to option 1. Obviously, the department are trying to have as few demolitions as possible.
Well, it doesn't make sense though, because they're allowing people to if they need to come back into the scheme. I mean, you're far better off if you're going to do the job right the first time. It makes no sense.
Clearly, the science has evolved and the understanding of this problem has evolved, and you would have seen the research commission with the likes of Eileen and Paul Dunlop regarding pyrite. So we know more now than we did this time last year. We have a greater understanding of the need for demolition more than we did last year.
But from a council level, what can you do to help the likes of Rasheen there? You say you're very familiar with it. As I say, you are the chair of the council. There's almost 40 of you elected to the council. What can you do as a collective or individually so that we're not talking about this and highlighting issues, we're actually fixing them?
Yeah. As I say, I'll be attending a meeting. The week after next, I'll be attending a meeting with the department. And I'll have the ability to raise specific cases, but even Rasheen's specific case is reflective of there's 60 to 70 people now in a similar situation. So I'll be able to raise that directly with the department at that meeting. I'm happy to come back on the show to report back on how that went, but that's what I can do from my own.
Someone wants to know what are you doing? Not what he is. What's the council doing? What is the plan to repair council or replace council stock homes?
Well, that's ongoing.
Is there a plan at all or anything there?
There is. People that live in houses that have mica in the council stock will be aware that they'll be being moved fairly soon. Obviously, we've a fairly significant problem, and we've a lack of available housing to move people.
But what's the plan to repair these homes, replace them? Because I know people who've been told, yes, you've got mica, at some point you will be moved out. That's it, no contact for 6 months. Like, what is the plan, the council's plan to repair their houses?
The council have set out their plan. We're working through. It's a worst first policy where the people whose houses are greatest level of deterioration are getting moved out. There's been a number.
But is there a plan to rebuild them? I know people are being moved out.
Of course.
And what's the timeline on that, I wonder, for the worst first?
Well, there's 50 identified in Buncrana to be starting this year to get the worst 50, but we're going to be going through it. Like, if you're looking for an honest timeline, we're going to be looking at this for a decade.
Yeah. No, I understand.
It's not going to be happening today or tomorrow.
Okay, it was more the plan, Jack, rather than sort of, for you to give us an absolute timeline.
Right, can I make a final point,
ahead,
if you don't
Eileen.
mind? Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on something that Jack said, and it's not to pick on Jack by any means. Jack's obviously privy to this, and this is the conversations they're having. Jack made a comment that the department's position is as few demolitions as possible. Now, that's been our experience with the department for years. And it's an awful pity that they still haven't moved from that position of as few demolitions as possible, given that they're supposed to be led by the science. As Rasheen said, like, the reports are meant to dictate what happens. You don't preempt. We will have as few demolitions as possible. You do what you're supposed to do, which is not do an outer leaf if you need a full demolition. And it's an awful pity. And I think Jack will be aware that, this conversation needs to go back to the department and say, it's about time you listened to the science, you read the reports, and you did what you're supposed to do in the houses, as opposed to trying to save money. This is why we're in the mess we're in. They have been trying to save money. They have been trying to retrofit a scheme to us that isn't going to work, and until they start being led by what actually is supposed to happen, we're going to be having the same conversation, Greg, in 6 months and 12 months.
Yeah, and obviously, Rasheen, you feel it's your life. If it's not difficult enough what you're going through, these delays, this uncertainty, the sense you're being messed around, it only makes matters worse, obviously.
It's absolutely outrageous, and I'm a friendly person. I'm always, speaking to all of these people all the time, but my patience is gone now. I have to think about my husband and my 2 young children. And if anybody is finding it that I'm giving any personal attacks or anything, that's not my focus. None of this is personal. We need to get this sorted out, and I refuse to allow my application to stay in Dublin. It must come back and go to the pile where it originally was, imminent approval, and that must happen. And they're telling me that can't really happen. They're telling me that can't happen.
Have we any idea how? Are we any idea? Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Sorry, Greg. Last week I sent an email to the council and I asked them, take that application back. I never gave permission for that for 12 months to be added on possibly to my application. Absolutely no way. We can't do that. My family can't go through this for 12 more months on top of 22 months already. But I was told that I gave permission to share my information when I signed the application form, and my engineer gave permission to share my information when he signed the application form. No, I gave permission, as we always do when we get into websites and all the rest. We click that we'll share information. We don't mean that we're going to add 12 months of hell onto a young family. We do not. Sure. That is a different thing altogether. Okay. I was very hoodwinked there in that one. I was also recommended, when they replied back to me, that I always have the option of reverting back to my original recommendation of outer leaf only, and I took that as an insult because that's ridiculous.
Like, are Jack or Eileen, like, are we are applications constantly being processed, or are they not being approved? Like, what's happening? Are houses being approved? Have any houses been approved?
Not that we know of. Not that we know of.
So-
I mean, they're saying that they're being processed. If I'm honest with you, the line is that they're being processed, but I have not heard of any approvals for some time. This
Right,
is the
Jack,
problem.
do you know? I mean, we talked about, there's difficulties within this, that and the other. But I mean, surely one or two a day or a week should be trickling through as approved if the system is actually functioning.
Yeah, absolutely. We 5 houses rebuilt. It cost by the spade. That's not acceptable.
No, but I'm asking you internally in the council, right? Because we all are in agreements that it's an absolute disgrace. I'm asking you, do you know, or does anyone know, are applications actually going through on a conveyor belt, and they're all being approved, but it's a painfully slow process, or are they not approving them at all? If the truth be told.
Well, a bit of both. Extremely slow.
No, I know the process is slow, but is there an actual end to that process? Do we know if, as it stands, there is an end to the process so that the painfully slow, frustrating process actually can lead to an approval?
I haven't heard of any approvals in the last few months. I don't know if Jack has heard of any.
Is the scheme actually running, really? Or is there something else going on?
Well, there hasn't been in the last few months, Eileen's right, not that I'm aware of, but there's been 5 in total completed.
But even if working within the housing department was confusing, right, there should be one that pops out. There should be one that doesn't need further information. There should be one that can find its way through the hurdles of the housing. If one has not been approved, well, then you have to start asking, are they actually really approving any? Is it a system, or are they actually just not approving houses?
Yeah. I'm not coming on to defend this. That's a question needs to be answered. Absolutely. I'll be meeting with the housing officials and the housing department. And as I say, I'll come back to you on the back of that to see with greater clarity on this. Because I know I'm the chairperson of the council, but I'm not going to defend anything that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I think it's disrespectful to you as chairperson of the council if everything is not told to you. If you don't know everything, I'm not putting this on you, by the way, Jack. I don't want you to think you've come on here and I'm trying to do a hit job. That's not what I'm at here. But you should be privy to everything.
Yeah. Well, see, as of this afternoon, that meeting we had on MIGA was wide ranging. So it was on for maybe 4 hours with every aspect of the scheme scrutinised and questions asked. I've been assured that this afternoon I will have the detail and the answer to everything from that this afternoon. And as I said, I'm happy to forward that straight to you, Greg.
And by the way, I just want to be clear because it's important. When I say you should be privy to everything, I'm not saying that you're not asking the questions or you're not interested. I'm saying you should by course, it should be furnished to you as the head of the council. So I don't want it to sound like I'm being unfair. Cause that's not my intention.
No.
At all.
And I will have, as of this afternoon, I will have all that, everything. That's wide ranging.
Understood.
And by me having it, the public will have it.
Okay.
Can I just say the very final thing? Sorry, Greg, if you don't mind, this is the last thought. It's just that I think that the people who are at the council need to really start thinking about the pressures that families like Rasheen, myself, Pamela and Kieran the Master, all of us are under. We ring up, we're at our wit's end, our homes are having to get demolished, we're having to move out, and we ring up, and to be quite honest with you, we had a brick wall, and it's not a make-up brick wall either. It's a wall that literally they don't treat us with respect. They don't treat us with any respect in terms of they don't allow us to ask questions, they don't allow us to speak to anyone, they don't give us any idea where we are in the queue, we have no idea of a timeline. And to be honest with you, I think adding that additional pressure onto families is totally and utterly unacceptable, and it needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, all right. Listen, thank you very much for your time. Rasheen, thank you for your time this morning. I really genuinely hope that things move along for you and your young families you described yourself. It's a torture that no one should have to be going through, especially when we supposedly have a scheme that...
Yeah, I would really like to finish by saying that I don't want people to think that my situation is what is ahead of people. We are going to try and fight as much as we can to get this sorted out before. I know there are thousands of people coming behind me, but don't lose hope. I just want people to understand my case is a bit extreme, definitely is extreme. 22 months stuck on stage 1 is not the norm.
Okay,
but
listen.
We'll get through it, and I think we should just definitely still stick together and still keep our heads together and get through it.
Well done, Rasheen. Thank you very much indeed. We'll be back with more after the news at 10, which will be slightly delayed.
Let's call out his name.
Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
Do you need a little extra help staying in your home? At Bluebird Care, we offer a wide variety of QMark-approved personalised home care services across Donegal. And our fully trained and committed staff will always meet your care needs with kindness, compassion and dignity. To get your personal home care assessment plan, visit bluebirdcare.ie or call our care team today on 07491 29562 and bring care home.
John Edwards and Sons from Elton have been growing and packing potatoes for 40 years. To celebrate, watch out for special offers in shops throughout the county this week. For a real taste of Donegal, try John Edwards and Sons potatoes. 40 years of growing.
O'Neill's Sportswear massive warehouse clearance sale. T-shirts, tracksuit bottoms, half zips, hoodies and jackets all reduced to clear starting from £6. When it's gone, it's gone. Open from 10 a.m. Wednesday the 20th to Saturday the 23rd of April. Open from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. Sunday the 24th of April. The sale will take place at O'Neill's Sportswear Warehouse off the Melmount Road roundabout, Strabane.
Oakfield Park is now open, with over 100 acres of mature parklands and lush landscapes to explore. Walks, mazes, gardens and sculptures. Take a ride on Ireland's largest heritage railway and refuel in Buffer's restaurant. New to the park is an educational nature centre and a self-propelled rail cart. Come along to Oakfield's Easter Storybook event from Friday the 15th to Monday the 18th of April. An Easter magic event like no other. Storybook characters, puppet shows, storytelling, arts, crafts and more. Oakfield Park, the secret jewel in the heart of Donegal. Open every Wednesday to Sunday, 12 to 6. Visit oakfieldpark.com.
For confirmation and First Communion, see the great selection of suits, casual wear and footwear at Watson Menswear, Letterkenny. Top brands, including 1880 Club, Lyle & Scott, Farah and Diesel. Also Tommy Bow footwear and all at great prices. Whatever the fit, whatever the style, confirmation and First Communions are covered for less at Watson Menswear. Open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com. Also, great end of sale bargains still available.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning. A man in his 20s is being questioned about a suspected murder in Sligo town. A man in his 50s was found dead at an apartment on Connaughton Road at around 10:30 last night. It follows the killing of Aidan Moffat, who was found dead at his home in the Cartron Heights area of Sligo on Monday. Gardaí say both men had suffered significant physical injuries. It's not clear at this stage if the killings are linked or if there is any connection with a weekend assault in Sligo in which a man lost an eye. Sligo-based journalist Sorcha Crowley says a suspect was detained at an apartment in the town in the early hours of this morning.
Just 4 hours later, following what they describe as intense Garda activity, backed up by the Garda Armed Support Unit in the Mail Coach Road area of Sligo town, they arrested a young man in his early 20s.
The Justice Minister, Helen McEntee, says she has spoken with the Garda Commissioner about the killings in Sligo and Gardaí will ensure justice is done. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says he's deeply concerned by the violent deaths and is urging anyone with information to come forward. As you've been hearing on the 9 till noon show, questions are being asked of Donegal County Council over major delays in the application process for the MICA redress scheme. A substantial amount of applications are said to be stalled on stage 1, while other families are waiting up to 9 months at stage 2. Those affected have expressed frustration by a lack of progress. MICA campaigner Eileen Doherty believes that the issue lies with the council.
There's nothing to suggest that they should be stuck in the system, and there's absolutely lots of them that are. We don't believe that this is a directive from the department. We believe that this is an issue at the local authority level.
Well, Cahirla of Donegal County Council, Councillor Jack Murray believes a pre-planning system needs to be put in place to speed up the process.
So we would have a system like a pre-planning system where the council will go out, sit with the engineer with a very stringent checklist saying if you don't have all this information, I can't proceed. Sit down, be an hour, 2 hours, talk through the entire process, make sure that every single piece of information is complete, and then move forward and hopefully remove that painful delay and unacceptable delay that has existed.
The cost of gas and electricity is set to fall when Cabinet sign off on a number of measures aimed at reducing fuel bills today. The package will see a cut to the VAT charged on electricity and gas down to 9%, though not on petrol, diesel and home heating oil. A triple-week payment of the fuel allowance will be paid, and the PSO levy on gas and electricity is expected to be scrapped. Age Action said a more targeted approach is required to ensure those most at risk of fuel poverty are helped. Policy specialist with the organisation, Nat O'Connor, says the money is being stretched too far, which will result in the most needy losing out.
Well, part of the problem is that the government has chosen to do quite expensive things by cutting excise or by cutting VAT for everybody, and that stretches the money very thin, rather than targeting the money on those people who need particular help. And that includes many older persons, also others such as single parents in society who need more targeted help.
There's calls for an urgent meeting over coastal erosion in Inishowen. The ongoing issue is said to be of major concern in the Lag, Kildaff and Ballyliffin areas. Councillor Martin McDermott has proposed a meeting be held with the relevant department in a bid to find a pathway forward. He says despite numerous attempts to engage with relevant bodies so far, the matter seems to be falling on deaf ears.
I just feel, and I've felt this for quite some time, that the department and the OPW have no interest whatsoever in dealing with the coastal erosion issues that we have here in Donegal. They've made it quite clear by not replying to emails and not replying to requests for a meeting. The Minister came to the county 14 months now. We've been trying to get a meeting. He came to the county 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago and still hasn't offered a hand to come here to any show.
And pig farmers are losing between 60 and 70,000 euro per month and need a bailout to survive. That's according to the Irish Farmers Association, which says the sector needs 100 million euro urgently. It's appearing before the Agriculture Committee later, along with Meat Industry Ireland, to outline how COVID and Brexit have left the sector in crisis. IFA President Tim Cullinan's calling on the government to act on farmers' proposals.
All we have to do is look at the assessment that Teagasc have presented. We're showing losses over the last number of months totaling 160 million, or to put it in context, at farm level, the average farmer with 500 to 600 sows is losing anything now between 60 and 70,000 per month. So it's a very, very serious situation on the ground.
Weather now. Low clouds, slow to clear this morning, but it will give way to sunny spells, but it will linger near some coasts. Some scattered showers about. Mild today with temperatures of 13 to 16 degrees. We're back with the headlines for you at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning. The obituary notices for Wednesday morning, the 13th of April. The death has occurred of Dan Reid, Avalty Gort, Crossroads, Killygordon. Funeral leaving his home tomorrow at 12:30 for service in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon at 1 o'clock. Cremation afterwards in Lakelands Crematorium in Cavan. The service will be streamed live via St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon Facebook page. The house is private and no flowers, please. The death has occurred of John McElhenney, Liscooley, Castlefin. His remains are reposing at his home tomorrow from 11 a.m. Funeral leaving his home on Friday morning at 10:30 for 11 o'clock service in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The service will be streamed live via St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon Facebook page. The house is private to family and close friends only, please. The death has taken place of Anne Bradley, ní Tuirish, 209 Bomini, Letterkenny. Anne's remains are reposing at her late home. Wake today from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m, please. Funeral from there at 1:15 tomorrow afternoon, going to St Eunan's Cathedral for funeral liturgy at 2 o'clock, which can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. Interment afterwards to Conwall Cemetery. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place of Michael Doherty, Armour, Dunaff, Uris, Clonmany. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral leaving there tomorrow morning at 10:30, going to St Michael's Church, Uris, for a service at 11 o'clock, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to Cancer Care West, care of any family member or Comiskey funeral directors. The funeral mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. And the death has occurred of Bridget Rogers, ní McMullen, Upper Kildrum, Calais. Her remains are reposing at her home. Funeral leaving there this morning at 10:30, going to the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Calais, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock. Interment immediately afterwards in Newton Cunningham Cemetery. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. Do you know when the €200 for the ESB will be allocated? Well, I know some people have received it already, so I don't know. Presumably when your next bill comes through with your next bill, I presume maybe you get yours later in the month. What is the name of the book about our national anthem? I do think this should be taught in schools in English and Irish. Thanks. I will get that for you before the end of the programme. Hi Greg, they won't worry too much about turf in Glengad as all they seem to burn around there is rubbish. Air quality is so bad on holiday here. What a shame. That comes in from Mick. I'm sure it's not all of Glengad. Might even be blowing in from somewhere else. Greg, if it's illegal to sell turf, how come Germany can sell turf to Ireland? It's not illegal yet. It's a proposal that from September 1st, I believe, that it would be illegal to sell it. Has all council housing been checked for mica? A good question. I don't know. We'll be returning to that, of course. Hello, Caroline Gregg. Hope all well. Can you put it to your panel that the majority of homeowners cannot even access the scheme in any shape or form? What advice can they give us, please? Many thanks. Okay, Josephine, we'll try and get an answer for you on that. Jack is a current figurehead for Donegal County Council, and you are giving a pass on the questions. He must and should know the answers. Hi Greg, could you ask Jack Murray what are the plans to fix the entrance to the round the river on the town side of Castlebridge in Buncrana? It's not wheelchair accessible and parents struggle with push chairs. Also, there is a beautiful walk around the river, but I've seen wheelchair users not being able to use the facility. Well, that's an absolute disgrace. It really is. And when you are more aware of the lack of wheelchair accessibility, you know, when you actually look to see what people in wheelchairs have to endure, it really is shocking. And it's not just in places like this that appears to have no wheelchair access. It's even in places that claim to have wheelchair access, and in reality, in a usable way, they don't really have wheelchair accessibility at all, or how tables are laid out in cafes and restaurants and stuff. Greg, good morning, Greg. Sounds like Jack Morris just making up answers to cover himself. Not good enough. Thank you. Greg, what are they renting for €850 a week? Why did these people not just buy a cheap mobile home? Absolutely nothing wrong with mobile homes. That comes in from Marianne. But if there's a house available to rent, and you know you have to, and you can, why not? I don't understand why you would not rent a house but instead get a caravan. Some people have chose that option because they want to be on site and maybe they can't afford the additional rent. I don't know. Last few on the National Anthem. Greg sang it in Irish the whole way through. We learned it off by heart as children at school. It was also played after the dances in all dance halls. Yes, indeed, and thanks for your nice comment as well. Another know every word of the National Anthem because we played it yesterday to see how many of us knew. Greg, 5 of us in the office, only one knew it, which is around about the figure we heard from Rachel yesterday as to, in her Vox popping, how many people actually knew the National Anthem. Right, okay. This is your last call for flight competition. Now, if you want to enter Highland Radio's holiday giveaway, it's coming to an end now. You've heard plenty about it over the last while. We've given away a trip for 2 to Turkey. We've given away 2 prizes of €1,000. And it's time now for the big one tomorrow on the programme between 11 and 12. And by the way, Thursday's show, because we're not here Good Friday, Thursday's show is Friday's show. Does that make sense? We're going to have a Thursday panel lined up for you. There's lots to discuss. So the Thursday panel will be joining us between 9 and 10. Our usual content then between 10 and 11. And then Michael and Fanula will be joining us for a chat heading into the long weekend. Now, I'm conscious that lots of you are working on Friday, okay, but we're not on Friday, so we're going to do it on Thursday. And looking forward to the Easter weekend and the rest of the Easter holidays, giving you some suggestions as to how you might entertain yourself. But star of the show tomorrow, arguably, is not Michael Leddy. It's the big prize giveaway. €10,000 holiday voucher will be given to you for one dream holiday. You know, you've heard the usuals, the Disneys, the wherevers. But you can do it in one big chunk, or you can break it up and go on a number of little holidays over the next 5 years. It's completely up to you. €5,000 cash, part of the price as well. We're calling it spending money, but that's up to you to do with what you want as soon as you win. Right? So if you win this prize tomorrow and you want to buy yourself or do up a bathroom, that £5,000 is yours to do. We'll not let on. You're not using it as spending money. But anyway, if you want to be in with a chance to win, you have to enter before 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, go to highlandradio.com. The tickets are at the most expensive, €10 for one. You get 6 for 50 and you get 10 for 80. And of course, please, only if you've got a few spare pound and you want to be in with a chance to win, there you go. But don't put yourself into debt or struggle over the head of it either. We wish you good luck from all of us here on the 9 till noon show, all of us on Highland Radio. I can't wait to hopefully speak to the winner on the programme tomorrow between 11 and 12. But if you want to be in with a chance to win, now it's funny because of the draws we've done, I think one of the ladies that won the 1,000, she bought the ticket really early, and the Turkey holiday winner a little later, and I'm not sure the situation with John's. There's no reason why whoever buys their ticket today will not be the lucky winner. So get in to highlandradio.com and order your ticket. Okay, right, here's the bingo numbers.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday, the 13th of April. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S13. It's game number 15. The numbers are 87, 26, 48, 17, 66, 89, 3, 57, 46, and finally 72. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
The countdown is now on. Where would you go if you won the €10,000 holiday and €5,000 spending money?
I know exactly where to go. I go to Boston to see my aunt.
I go on a Mediterranean cruise and the 5,000 would come in handy for spending money.
If I won the super prize, I would take my 3 boys to Disney World and Universal Studios in Florida, and we'd also get to meet my brother over there.
The lucky winner will be announced on Thursday the 14th of April on the 9 till noon show. Buy your ticket today at highlandradio.com.
Are you thinking of making the switch to electric? Come visit us in iMotors, Donegal's SEAI EV Dealer of the Year 2022. We will answer any questions and help you make the switch. With our award-winning lineup of EVs available now, come visit us at iMotors in Letterkenny and Malin.
From the 11th of April, fares are reducing by an average of 20% on all Bus Éireann, TFI Local Link and some other TFI services. Éireann Éireann's online fares are also coming down, and student Leap Card single fares are reducing by 50% across eligible TFI services. For further information, see transportforireland.ie. See where cleaner, greener, cheaper travel can take you. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
The cost of living?
Oh, the rate of fuel? Oh, the price of 3 broadband? Ooh. Get 3 months free home broadband with no setup costs on Ireland's fastest 5G network. Only €39 per month after that. But hey, don't just take it from me. Take it from Sinead and Buncrana, who said, "It's great. We've 4 TVs, multiple laptops and PlayStations on the go. I've recommended it to everyone. I'd give it 10 out of 10. Sign up in our Buncrana store today. 3. For a better connected life. Minimum term and direct debit required. Speeds may vary. Subject to availability. Fastest 5G network based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q3 to Q4 2021. See 3.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Get ready to hit the beach and soak up the sun by choosing flights to Alicante, Barcelona, Faro, Mallorca, Malaga and Milan this summer with Ryanair. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
So, mist, fog and low cloud clearing at this stage to give some sunny spells, but will linger near some coasts while many areas will stay dry. There will be a few showers scattered about, becoming isolated later in the day. It'll be mild today, temperatures 13 to 16 degrees in light southwesterly breezes. So it sounds like if you want to get out for a walk this afternoon and evening, then you can. Okay, because the weather's looking middling. Hi Greg, listen to your show. It's obvious Micah homeowners are getting nowhere. Councillors and TDs taking a hand. Look how quick they can house and lift laws to let people into the country. Why can't they do the same here? House has Micah just got it fixed. Well, it's a bit different, sort of ringing a hotel and saying, look, we'll pay you to give us 50 rooms to house people coming into the country, compared to demolishing and rebuilding houses. I do understand. I honestly, personally, don't feel the argument's advanced any by trying to compare it to us trying to help people coming from a war-torn country, but that's just my opinion. Hi Greg, went to visit the Glebe Gallery recently. Fabulous place, lovely walks and lake. Unfortunately, my young daughter was terrified as there were dogs wandering around without leads, bounding about. There are signs everywhere there to say keep your dogs on the lead. Why is it not enforced, and why are people so selfish to other people who are afraid of dogs as do not adhere to these signs? Also, the place is covered in dog poo. Such a shame in such a beautiful area. Everywhere seems to be overrun with dogs, and unfortunately we could have that conversation on a daily basis, seemingly, because people not keeping the dogs on leads and it worrying other people. €284 to park your car at Dublin Airport for 12 days next week. Are there any alternatives to this excessive pricing? Well, there are airport car parks all around Dublin. And they're not necessarily on site, but you can park there and get bussed in. I've used them. I think I've once parked actually in Dublin Airport when I used to be able to travel a little bit more regularly. But I used the car parks just on the outskirts, or a hotel, for example, too. You can stay the night in advance in a hotel, and some of them have relatively cheap parking. That could be an option for you as well, and you might even get a free hotel room, for the €284, if you get where I'm coming from. So there are options. Anyone out there, probably shouldn't because there's competition and all that, but sure, look, it's down at Dublin. Anyone got any tips as to where someone should park their car in Dublin for 12 days next week? 086 60 25,000. We can help that person out because, holiday's expensive enough. We're getting away. But €284, that would be nice in your back pocket, or at least, a proportion of that. Morning, Greg. I'm a full-time home carer. I depend fully on carers coming into our home every day. I have a total of 12 different carers between people off sick, holidays, etc. It's very stressful with so many different faces. At the weekend, another new carer came who we didn't know, and we had no choice from the provider that they were sending another carer. This is causing great anxiety. Is there someone looking into what's happening with home care, or a politician who could help? Thank you. So this is someone who's not happy with the amount of different carers coming in to provide care through a company there, it seems. All right, 086 60 25,000, your WhatsApps and texts. We have an ad break to catch up on because the Micah conversation ran on, so stay with us. Lots coming up in the programme. We're going to be getting an update from County Sligo with the awful events out of Sligo town over the last couple of days. We're going to be speaking to a journalist about the Kinahan story and the big crackdown on their business, if you could call it that. We have Kieran in on business matters and so much more besides. So stay right where you are. It's going to be a really busy hour and 37 minutes.
Hi everyone, Jean Kern here to let you know that the Highland Radio Book Club is back. Our first book of the season is The Nightingale by American author Kristen Hanna. Set in France during World War II, Vianne Mauriac says goodbye to her husband Antoine as he heads for the front. She doesn't believe that the Nazis will invade France, but they do. In droves of marching soldiers, caravans of trucks and tanks, in planes that fill the sky and drop bombs upon the innocent. When a German captain requisitions Vianne's home, she and her daughter must live with the enemy or lose everything. Without food, money nor hope, as danger escalates all around them, Vianne is forced to make one impossible choice after another to keep her family alive. Described as a heart-wrenching and compelling novel, it is a story perhaps more relevant today as we witness the horrors of war in Europe once more. We will be reviewing the book on my show on Sunday the 24th of April, and as usual, if you would like to take part or give your comments, email me jeancurran@highlandradio.com or tune in to the show on the night.
Uncover Belfast this Easter and embrace a giant city experience guaranteed to surprise. Find a city alive with culture and entertainment, from festivals and live music to world-class attractions and everything in between. With great hotel deals, come for the day and stay for the night. So come on in, Uncover Belfast today. Find out more at visitbelfast.com.
We'll feel alive out in Belfast City, alright.
I'm Stephanie Preisner, one of thousands of autistic people in Ireland, everyone experiencing life and autism in our own unique way. Unfortunately, many of the things connecting us are the barriers we face every day. Barriers most people don't face and so don't even see. Barriers to a proper education, barriers to employment, barriers in society that leave autistic people isolated and left out. Help us remove these barriers and give autistic people the same chance. Donate at asiam.ie.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
Now, as you may remember, we had a lady on the programme, was it earlier this week or towards the end of the last week, who was a regular visitor to Ards Forest Park, and she was aghast as someone who goes out mushroom picking and has a love of the outdoors, to see what she described as large parts of the forest flattened. Didn't look very nice at all. It looked almost apocalyptic, if that's the right word. I think it is. But anyway, let's continue with our coverage of this. Charlie Gallagher is part of Friends of Ards Forest Park Group. He joins us now. Good morning to you, Charlie.
Good morning, Greg.
Are you understanding, happy, unhappy as to what has been going on there?
I'm very happy for what happened in the Ards Forest Park, that particular area which is up near what is known as the old sawmill. Now, I can totally understand anybody coming in with a particular part of the park could see that it looked like a desolation, it looked like a battlefield, totally total chaos, branches lying everywhere, and then massive stacks of lumber there. Now, I'm afraid the culture, I believe, I understand, issued a statement which was ahead of me and have said most of the things that I was planning to.
No, well, carry on, because people, the absolute majority of people aren't familiar with that culture statement. So proceed as if it hasn't been released.
Well, the situation is, of course, a citrus spruce is a commercial crop, and like any crop, it has to be harvested. So the culture have explained that now that it is harvested, they're going to have a more, in other words, have an alternative system where they have a more of a mix of conifers and broadleaf trees. But what I'm saying is the habitat there, in other words, the ground that was what's called clear fell, is an ideal habitat now for bird life. And for the next 10 years, it will be a very exciting place for anybody that wanted to listen or to observe bird life, because the reality, coniferous forests are very poor for bird life. In fact, there's only a small number of specialised species that enjoy, you could say, a coniferous wood. But what I'm going to say is there's one particular bird that I'm looking forward to that may utilise this newly clear-felled area, and that is the nightjar. It's a summer visitor, and very few people would know about him. Nobody, I have never seen one, but we're lucky that around this area, Creasla, Dunfanny area, and the Rough and the moorland, upland areas, it can be heard. It has a monotonous churring call, a continuous, and at night particularly.
And reverberates through the forest, I'd imagine, bouncing off the trees. And,
people would they wouldn't realise what it was, but it's a nightjar, and it's one of the as far as Ireland is concerned, it's been an endangered species. So the clearfell is an ideal habitat for it. It sits on the ground during the day, and at night it takes flight. And it flies around. It's a very silent flight, something like an owl, and it feeds on moss, night-flying moss.
Okay, this could also be good for the good squirrel, the red squirrel.
Yeah, oh yes.
That's the indigenous squirrel of ours, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I belong to a small group, we could call it an ad hoc committee, a very small group, who love Ards Forest Park, and we got together and we made up a number of, we discussed and drew up a number of proposals that we could give to culture, in other words, to improve the amenities of the park. And one of those, we were very fortunate, of course, at the time that at the same time as we were talking like that, culture had commissioned a firm of consultants to survey the park and assess ways in which it could be improved, or the amenities could be improved. So we, in our turn, then presented our proposals to this expert group that had already started, and they were delighted because found that the proposals that we made matched almost the same as what they had drawn up. But the one item that I think was novel was that we proposed the introduction, I was going to say the reintroduction, but they were never there, the red squirrel to Ards Forest Park.
So can we say that we fully understand someone who visits that area regularly returning to see this, that it does, and I think Culture themselves had said that it looks untidy at the moment. We can understand how someone could be shocked by that. But if we look at the long picture, the long-term thing, it will take a while to sort of evolve with this new mixed woodland habitat, and will bounce back better.
That's correct. Well, without a doubt, according to Culture's statement, they proposed to more broadleaf, I would imagine, more mixed with conifers. Now, I should say that that area is actually a small area. It's up what they call near the old sawmill area, which is near the old graveyard. It's not like the rest. But that's for the and I went in and I looked around there, and it's the massive amount of lumber stacked up, and some of it well past its spell-by date. Yeah. Some of the trunks are massive, but now that when the lumber is moved out, that area will be a very interesting place for at least the next 10 years.
Radio. Charlie, listen, thanks for your time, for helping us explain that. As I say, our original caller was quite, Christina, I think it was, anyway, but she was quite open-minded as to what might be going on, but we accept that it would have looked like, a war scene in the first instance, but I think you've done a great job in explaining it to us, Charlie. And onwards and upwards, looking forward to hearing the nightjar, maybe spotting a red squirrel, who's to say?
Exactly. Now, I should say that as well as we were hoping that if they, as a result of, we were fortunate that one of our committee worked with a forestry commission in Scotland and has a lot of ideas on an administrative basis, and has a lot of ideas as well. But what we were going to do for the red squirrel was that we were proposing, if it were all to work out, to have feeding hoppers high up on selected trees, convenient to where the trails, where children particularly would enjoy watching them being frequented by the red squirrel feeding and running up and down the tree.
What's your view on the grey squirrel, Charlie?
Well, there is no. This is the one plus for Ards. There's no grey squirrels. If there were grey squirrels there, our project just wouldn't work.
Because it's quite invasive, isn't it? The grey squirrel. It's not natural.
They tend to wipe out the red squirrel anywhere. They're actually they're classified as vermin.
Yeah. Okay. Right. All right. Listen. Thanks for that, Charlie. Listen, great to hear an explanation. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Take care of yourself. All right. That's Charlie there. Right, I think our next guest is in studio, but don't forget, if you want to watch the show, and 4 million minutes viewed of this programme live. Doesn't count watchbacks over the last 6 months. Thank you very much for that. People dip in and out depending on the item. Some people sit and watch the whole day. We really appreciate that. But we hit the milestone there today, 4 million minutes viewed of this programme live over the last 6 months, which I think is great, that people are finding different ways to engage and consume and interact with the programme. So 4 million. I was aghast, shocked at that myself. But it's great to see, and thank you so much for all of you watching across the various platforms. And we're going to make it even easier for you to not just interact with this programme, because there are other great shows, Monday night sessions, some Ivan's show gets streamed, John's show and what have you, and we're hoping to be able to stream it, host it on the website shortly, so that you don't necessarily have to hop from here to there or other. Not exclusively, by the way. You'll still be able to watch us on social media, but it's to try and enrich the experience even more for you. But as I say, personally, really, thank you so much. 4 million minutes viewed over the last 24 weeks. Really quite remarkable.
COVID-19 can still cause serious illness, especially in people at higher risk. We need to keep protecting each other. So stay home if you have symptoms. Wear a mask in healthcare settings, public transport, and busy places. Let fresh air in if you're meeting indoors. Keep hands clean. And get a COVID-19 vaccine and booster. Let's keep looking out for each other. From the HSE, for us all.
Let's call out his name.
Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum, Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us what.
The Lotto jackpot is an estimated €5.2 million. Play responsibly, in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Flanagan's massive half-price store clear-out sale is now on in Buncrana. There's 50% of Irish-made sofas, tables, beds, wardrobes, rugs and occasional furniture. Pay today and take it away. See flanagans.ie.
At Hickey, Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers, they compare quotes from all the leading insurers, so you get a great price. Home, motor and van, farm, holiday home, travel and liability insurance, they quote them all. So if the worst happens, you're covered. For a competitive insurance quote today, call Hickey, Clark and Langan on 9126688 or pop into their office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey, Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey, Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
For all those who like being together. Let's go to the beach, everyone, and leave no one behind.
Should we go get Julie?
With 7 modular seats, there's room for everyone in the all-new Dacia Jogger. On the road for just €7 per day. See for yourself at Highland Motors Letterkenny today. Bigger, cooler, Jogger. Terms and conditions apply, subject to lending criteria. Payments drawn monthly, see dacia.ie.
Now, as we are all aware, and it's covered extensively in the papers and across the media, there was a discovery of the body of Aidan Moffat in Connaughton Road in County Sligo, a well-known auctioneer, Fine Gael activist and also a peace commissioner. He was discovered at his home in Carton Heights, just out Sligo town. Blaine Gaffney is a friend and political colleague of Aidan, and of course, first and foremost, my deepest condolences on the loss of your friend. By all accounts, he seemed like a lovely man, Blaine.
Yeah, and I think that's the message we're trying to get out there about how good of a person he was, how kind and caring he was, and how the horrible things that happened to him, just don't fit the nature of the man he was. he was in terms of himself, he was a lovable type of a character, very friendly, very caring, very, I would touch him down as being a touch of class. He had that little bit of an aura about him when you were around him. He was a person who loved horse racing, really enjoyed Roscommon GA, really enjoyed country music, and obviously the pint and the crack. And that's where I originally met him a number of years ago. But our relationship, I suppose, built around our involvement in politics and his keen interest in politics and history. And
he had a very sharp political and business mind, it seems.
Yeah,
Blaine.
very intelligent. One of the most intelligent people I've come across. Very astute. Could see trends developing before the people could see them. Very, very, just a very intelligent, sharp, strategic mind. And I suppose that's shone through in his business career, and also then in his involvement in politics on a number of different campaigns.
Was he involved with a campaign of yours, or Director of Elections, or what was the situation?
He would have been the brains behind my election in 2019, and actually it was quite funny. I remember when maybe 4 counts before it became clear to I that I was going to miss out, by a short number of votes, that he had spotted it 4 counts before that, and I kind of was just a little bit annoyed at the time, but he was right. He seen the trend, and that's the type of man he was. He was, when we were going into areas, I'd be going in just with the mindset of just meeting people, but he'd be looking at the particular topics that were going to be there and potential issues that were going to rise in the doors, and that was really the type of man he was. Very strategic, but very, very caring, very, very soft-natured. If you'd walk into a room, he'd be the first one to try and purchase a meal or purchase a pint. He'd give you the shirt off his back or the seat that he was sitting on. That's the type of a person he was, and I think that's important, that Aidan and the person that he was is really amplified today, and not the horrific things and undignified things that happened to him.
No, but obviously we've all experienced loss, and we lose people. It's the manner in which that you've lost your friend, and his family and other friends have lost him. In that everything that he seems to have been and what he stood for, it makes his death even more, his brutal murder, it seems, even more horrific and unfair. If that makes sense. It's
just the word that's being used around media and things like that is just potential motive for a hate crime. Like, there's no hate in Aidan whatsoever. Like, the two just don't fit. And something so undignified to happen to such a dignified person is just very hard to comprehend. I think the entire community. I woke up this morning just to try and get some sense around where we were at in terms of had somebody been arrested or where it was at, and to learn then this morning that there was similar horrific murder last night. It just doesn't bear.
And also an awful attack on another gentleman who I believe lost
Friday.
Lost an eye. As 3 things in close amount of time. Obviously Sligo's got a big population, things happen, but nothing like this and on this scale.
No, this is like Netflix. This is just some horrendous stuff that doesn't seem real. It does not seem real. This is like, we heard of the attack on Friday, and quite concerned considering what was potentially being discussed, and then obviously this heartbreak for what happened on Monday evening, or Sunday evening, but we heard about it on Monday. And then to hear this again this morning, I think people were just pure numb and shocked and locking doors. But the only positive thing we're learning is that potentially that that the suspect that they believe may have been linked to these 3 horrific things is in custody, and that's somewhat reassuring in some small sense.
Yeah, listen, you've got a wonderful person and experience and engagements to reflect on clearly, Blaine, and to get comfort from, but it's a tough time and it's going to be tough. But as we do, I presume, hopefully people will rally together and get through it best they can. But it still, I presume, doesn't feel like you're speaking about Aidan in the past tense. He sounds like the type of a person that you'd never felt you could speak about him in the past tense, because he was so full of life.
It's crazy. It's just beyond. But again, I just think it's important that what we're going to hear over the next couple of days is horrific. It's going to be discussed in detail in the media, and that is going to be the headline, whereas I think we should be focusing on the type of person who Aidan was.
Do you think we need to have, at some point when it's appropriate, Blaine, revisit the broader conversation if there was a hate motive behind this. About, there's a toxic spaces out there where, a lot of these thoughts are shared and harboured and maybe even encouraged. And I don't know what it's going to take to try and get a handle on that, but it seems almost acceptable to say whatever you want about anything or make threats.
I've experienced situations where, people who are just clearly off the walls be writing to you and making all sorts of threats and accusations. It's the online space again, but I think what the Gardaí were trying to say was, for people who are using online sites and things like that, there was a big clarification yesterday to really have due diligence there in terms of agreeing to meet somebody you don't know. And I think people need to look at that, but also we need to look at how these sites operate and how people can potentially be able to go on here and be able to plan these particular things.
Yeah.
So,
well, listen, we'll have time for that conversation another time. I think, Blaine. I'll leave you now. Thank you for speaking to us, and thank you for painting the picture of Aidan for us. And it's a beautiful picture, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, Blaine Gaffney, there, friend and political colleague of Aidan Moffat, there, murdered in Sligo, and then, as he said there, we learn of another man in his 50s murdered again. It seems to have been a horrific murder. And, of course, an attack on another gentleman who was seriously injured. Now, I'm not linking those three. Blaine suggests that there are local suspicions that they are linked. Be that as it may, a man has been arrested and is being questioned, at least in relation to the most recent murder. That's that for the man in his 50s. By the way, this is after Gardaí were called to an apartment at Connaughton Road, Sligo, where the body of the male victim was discovered. He had received significant physical injuries, and that was a description of the crime scene of the as it relates to Aidan Moffat's murder as well. Okay, that's keeping you up to date on that story, and our thoughts with Blaine and the rest of Aidan's family and friends and the wider community too, not just in Sligo, of course, but his native Roscommon.
The countdown is now on. Where would you go if you won the €10,000 holiday and €5,000 spending money?
Probably to Florida. I think we were over there before, and it was a great crack with the Universal Studios, and the weather over there is class.
If I won, I would go to Netherlands to visit my sister. If I won the prize, I would go to LA so I could live like a rich person for like 2 days.
The lucky winner will be announced on Thursday the 14th of April on the 9 till noon show. Buy your ticket today at highlandradio.com.
Win with low prices from SuperValue. With great offers like SuperValue Fresh Irish Strip Loin Steak, save 33%. Epic! Coca-Cola regular 10-pack and Coke Zero 12-pack, only €6 each. Unreal! And Villa Maria Sauvignon Blanc 6-pack case deal, only €50. Winning! Win with SuperValue low prices. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Break free from the same old, same old. Join a community where people can grow and be at their best. Join ZincWorks and develop software for the biggest companies in the world, working with 5G and financial services. We value learning. We want you to be a better engineer every day you work with us. We value teamwork. We want you to learn from your peers and help your peers learn. We are now hiring across our offices in Athlone and Letterkenny. See zincworks.com/careers.
Hop on down to Letterkenny Shopping Centre for everything you need for Easter this April. Easter is a very special family holiday, so stock up on all the goodies you need to relax, enjoy and make memories with friends and family. With top fashion brands, free parking and with over 35 stores to choose from, Letterkenny Shopping Centre has it all this Easter. For more, see letterkennysc.com.
Century Complex, the perfect family day out this Easter. Kids will love exploring Century Play. We have lots of tasty options at Backstage Bar and Grill. And Century Cinemas are showing kids' movies, rom-coms, action and adventure movies, dramas and more. Call us on 074 91 or visit centurycinemas.ie.
And you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. In studio with me now is Chloe McGinty, Parent Support Team Leader with the Donegal Parent and Family Support Service. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much,
It's good
Greg.
to have you in. Right, okay. Now, recently launched... Well, do you want to tell us actually what the Donegal Parent and Family Support Service does? Initially,
Yeah.
just a wee brief
I can do that, no bother. So Donegal Parent and Family Support Service is a service in Donegal with 3 different projects attached to it. One of the projects is Pathways Parent Support Service, which I'm the team leader of. They also have Finn Valley Family Resource Centre, and they have Springboard Family Support Project in Rafo, and there's a childcare service attached to that as well.
Yeah. Now, sometimes in accessing services, it can be like, well, where do I go? You know, where's the signposts? Because everyone's needs can feel individual, and it can be hard to navigate. So, with that in mind, the new website for Parent Hub has been launched.
Yeah. So Parent Hub has been in existence since 2013, and that need was identified through members of statutory and community groups in Donegal who seen that there was a burden on families trying to access services, and they seen a need for this one-stop shop. So the website was developed at that time, and information on different services was put on the website to ease the burden on parents. But just recently, last year, we took over the coordination of the website, and we consulted with parents to see what it was that they liked about the old website, what they didn't like, and kind of what they thought Parent Hub was. So was it what they thought it was? And is there anything we can do differently? So we took we consulted with just under 100 parents via a survey and a focus group, and with that then we made the changes to the website. So I suppose the website has changed aesthetically. It's a little bit easier to navigate.
Well, it's 9 years on, isn't it? 10 years on.
Yeah.
So
it was a wee bit cluttered. Some of the information around services was outdated. Some of the services weren't in existence anymore. So there's a wee bit of work to do around that. So some of the changes that we made was we created a calendar, which is still in its infancy. So we're trying to create that so that parents can go into the website and see what's happening in the county of Donegal on a month view. So that's kind of work in progress. There's not too much on that calendar at the moment, but hopefully there will be. And again, it's just to try and get parents to put in, say, keywords, areas that they live in.
can you give me an example of that? Like how a parent in Ballybofey might benefit or engage from the website?
From the website. So they can put in the area that they live in. So they can put in Ballybofey, Stranorlar, and it'll show them the services. They can also put in the age groups of the children or specific categories of support they require. So we get requests for groups like, universal supports, parent and toddler groups. And then we get supports for more specific, more intensive supports that they need, where it be clinical, where they need to be signposted to services for therapeutic support, for example. And that's something we're really seeing post-COVID for parents and children, that there's real anxiety. And I think one of the big things that's coming up for us that we're seeing is a real frustration among parents with the waiting lists and services. They're on waiting lists for sometimes a year, sometimes more. So they just need a little bit of minding in those times in between. So it might be just that listening ear support they need from a service.
Yeah, so it's not just a website that tells you where things are. There's an element of support and what have you there as well.
Yeah. So they can anonymously put questions in via there's like a Facebook or Messenger tab at the bottom of the website. So they can ask questions anonymously through that. There's a mobile phone number they can directly contact, and then there's an email address as well.
And it's important too, so obviously, they're funding it, but the HSE are involved in this as well, because...
The HSE are fund Pathways Parent Support Service as well as TUSLA. Yeah, and they would be, they're involved in they're one of the members of, so there's a number of members around the table for Parent Hub. So it's not just me that makes the decisions. There's a number of community and statutory services involved in making the decisions.
And it sounds to me that obviously there's a lot there at launch, but this is something that can grow as more information becomes available, maybe populate the calendar a bit more and that type of stuff.
Definitely. And, there's no one service that can do it all. we're very much of the idea that we all have to collaborate. And
I'm on the website here. Sorry,
work
excuse
together.
me. It's not
You're
ignorant,
okay.
is it? I just wanted to have a quick look whilst we're talking.
We're of the opinion as well that at some point in our parenting journey, we all will need to access supports. Be it that kind of group where we need social support from other parents, or be it your more intensive supports. But we don't get a manual. So there are questions that you have as parents. And
yeah. But what happens is there's questions that come. It's just nice. What I'm trying to get is the internet is a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, is what I'm really trying to get at.
And you can get
you can find the wrong information or the right information and variants of it. So I think people it's like for instance, if you want reviews of restaurants or holiday destinations, you find one place that you trust and you tend to go back there, or products, right? And that's presumably the aim behind this, that it rather than doing a random search each time something comes up, there's one place that they can trust and hope the information is there. If it's not, presumably you want people to feed back in and say that, look, we're interested in this, why is that not there?
Yeah, we want to hear from parents, what are the needs? We want to be able to respond to them. So the members of Parent Hub come around the table and they say what they're experiencing as services and what parents are coming back to them to say. But parents can also message in or contact Parent Hub directly and say this is the issues that are presenting. But we are the point of contact as well for parenting programs across the county. So if a parent has, maybe the idea that they'd like to look at doing a parenting program, they can contact us and we put their names on the list. And if there's one running, if there's going to be one running, say, in their area, in the area that they live, we'll contact them directly then. Yeah,
and I think really what people should do is go on and have a route around.
Yeah.
Go on the website and have a route around. parenthubdonegal.ie. Interestingly, it's top search, but Google does that for us. But if you just put in Parent Hub, it comes out at top, and just go in and have a look around.
Yeah, and we've got quite an active Facebook page and only recently set up an Instagram page as well. So, we'll share anything that's happening in the county with regard parenting that may be useful for parents to see and to make it easier, hopefully. Make
or
it
if someone
easier
moves into a new area, for example, it can be hard it's hard enough sort of to get your bearings, but to know what's available around you. Okay, anything else you want to add that I've missed out on?
Maybe just to touch on the HSE have given us funding for a parenting initiative through Sláinte Care. It's called Building Healthy Communities, and that's going to be running now up until 2023. So there's funding there to provide parenting programs and initiatives for 2 target areas in Donegal, one of which is Inishowen and one is West Donegal. But those supports are only for parents of children up till 12. So we're a wee bit restricted that way, but we will be running plenty of programs and initiatives in those areas. So parents can reach out to Parent Hub Donegal as well to express interest in availing of those programs and initiatives
in the west and north of the county. Brilliant stuff. All right, Chloe, thank you.
No bother.
Best of luck
Thanks,
with it,
Greg.
and maybe we'll touch base again as things develop. It's nice to have had you in. Chloe McGinty there, parent support team leader with the Donegal Parent and Family Support Service. If you want to check out the new and improved Parent Hub website, it's Parent Hub Donegal, and you can find out more information there.
Get luxury for less this Easter with Lidl's inflation-busting offers. Don't miss out on award-winning Irish meats from our deluxe range, like our gold-awarded stuffed Carvery leg of lamb, only $15.99 per kilo. And sure to be finished dry cure half horseshoe ham joint was $14.99, now just $13.99. Lidl, more for you.
Kelly's Diner in Letterkenny now has even longer opening hours. Try Kelly's Early Bird Breakfast, one of their great lunch specials, or a renowned Jake's Burger. Kelly's famous steak specials are available every Saturday from 3, with an 8-ounce succulent steak and all the trimmings for just €11. New extended opening hours now in Kelly's award-winning diner at Mountaintop Letterkenny. Check out Facebook for details.
Milford Tiles, Wood Flooring and Bathware, Milford Retail Park, now open. Large range of wall and floor tiles on display and in stock. Over 70 different laminate floors to suit every pocket. Tilers and wood fitters available. New Bathware showroom now open. Milford Tiles, Wood Flooring and Bathware, 083 091 0707.
Sun soak for less. This summer with TUI. Savings on holidays during May. Holiday sorted. TUI. Live happy.
Every year, about 2,800 people in Ireland get bowel cancer. Bowel screening helps find signs of cancer before symptoms start. If you're aged 60 to 69, you can register today for a free bowel screen test kit. Once you've taken the test at home, return it by free post and we'll test your sample for levels of blood. If you need any more tests, we'll let you know. Register today at hse.ie/bowel screen or free phone 1800 45 45 55. From the HSE.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Now flying to 19 destinations this summer with 7 days car parking from just €30 when you book online. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Okay, so this morning the low cloud, mist and fog will lift slowly. It won't lift everywhere though. While many places will stay dry, there'll be a few showers scattered around, becoming isolated later in the day. It'll be mild with highest temperatures of 13 to 16 degrees in light southwesterly breezes. There's a new traffic system in place, a temporary one in Ballybofey-Stranola. I think it's in place from today. How's it going for you? It was designed to prevent traffic jams, to alleviate traffic pressures. It's a busy town, two busy towns to go through anyway. But this caller says the one-way system in Ballybofey-Stranola is causing serious delays. It's bumper to bumper at the moment. If people are attending an appointment, they need to leave extra time. Has that been your experience? Let us know. 086 60 25,000. Of course, I'd like to thank Parent Hub for sharing events for alienated parents as well. All right, more to come, but it's time to take a break for the very latest news at 11 o'clock, and we say good morning to Catherine Gaffney.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A man in his 20s is still being questioned about a suspected murder in Sligo town. A man in his 50s was found dead at an apartment in Connaughton Road at around 10:30 last night. It follows the killing of Aidan Moffat, who was found dead at his home in the Cartrin Heights area of Sligo on Monday. Gardaí say both men had suffered significant physical injuries. Meanwhile, the Justice Minister, Helen McEntee, says she has spoken with the Garda Commissioner about the killings in Sligo and Gardaí will ensure justice is done. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says he's deeply concerned by the violent deaths and is urging anyone with information to come forward. Questions are being asked of Donegal County Council over major delays in the application process for the MICA redress scheme. A substantial amount of applications are said to be stalled on stage 1, while other families are waiting up to 9 months on stage 2. The cost of gas and electricity is set to fall when Cabinet sign off on a number of measures aimed at reducing fuel bills today. The package will see a cut to the VAT charged on electricity and gas down to 9%, though not on petrol, diesel and home heating oil. There's calls for an urgent meeting over coastal erosion in Inishowen. The ongoing issue is said to be of major concern in the Lag, Kildaff and Ballyliffin areas. Culture has moved to reassure visitors to Ards Forest Park that a significant felling of trees is part of a wider biodiversity project. Concern had been raised this week over the scale of tree cutting in the area. And up to 50,000 people a day are expected to fly from Dublin Airport this Easter weekend as new guidance for passengers is issued. Travellers are advised to arrive early, but the airport authority says anyone flying from 8:30 a.m. onwards shouldn't be turning up before 5 a.m. That's it for now. We're back with more at 12 noon.
Okay, Catherine, thank you. I think that information as it relates to flying out of Dublin is getting more confusing all of the time. Be early, but not too early. Be early at this time of the day, but not that time of the day. It's the national airport, the biggest airport in the country. Surely they should be able to organise it a bit better. Sitka spruce have a very shallow root system and not that safe in stormy weather. Their needle leaves make the soil and runoff water very acidic, which is poor for fish and streams. Look forward to a broadleaf content in the replanting mix in Ards Forest Park. And that was part of the reason they chopped them down, because the weather was taking them down anyway. We made an inquiry to the council as it relates to how applications for MICA payments are being processed, and this is the response from the council. Generally, when all supporting documentation has been submitted, the stage payment request is processed within 2 weeks. If the council cannot verify the extent of the works or value of works carried out, which should correlate with the remedial works plans, this can delay the process of the payments while these clarifications are being sought from the chartered engineer. That's what they say. Right. Let me see. Good morning, Greg. Can you ask a government minister next time you're talking to them how come they put VRT on and then say they can't go against Europe on the tax on diesel? Yep, I think that's a derogation, but we're not being fined for that. On the MICA topic on your show, I feel that the council doesn't have the staff or expertise to carry out this MICA scheme. The Department of Housing knows this, and the council are going along with it. The local councillors and TD should be more critical of the council and the housing department. Any idea when the roadworks mess on the Port Road be finished or what is being done? Still looks like 2 lanes each way, nothing but a footpath after years of work. I'm trying to figure out which ones they are. Which is the Port Road? Michaela, do you know which one's definitely the Port Road? Is that the 4 lanes? Is it? I should know it's not. Okay, listen, I'm really bad. I have to go by places, a shop, a pub, a building. I'm terrible at remembering the names of roads. I received a very convincing scam call this morning claiming they were from a security firm. They told me €270 was taken to purchase a phone and $1,000 taken in Bangladesh. They asked for my mobile number and I gave it to them. Someone then rang back to say they were from the Western Union and that money had been lifted by my son in Bangladesh, but I don't have a son there. The call was so convincing as they had the first 4 digits of my card. Also, I was then told that my card had been cancelled, but I can't now get through to my bank. I just want to make people aware that it was convincing. Would you not ring your local bank? If you've got access to Google, whichever bank you're with, Bank of Ireland or Ulster Bank, Google fraud, Bank of Ireland fraud or Ulster Bank fraud. There's a specific number that, in my experience, they're quick at answering. Don't be trying to get through to your local branch, in my opinion, in my experience, or some generic number. Ring their fraud number as well. Okay, there's a standard 4 digits on cards, isn't there? And they're exploiting that as well. And that is a convincing scam. Especially when they say you have to act quick to get your money back. You'd be fearful, wouldn't you?
There's amazing deals every week at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Great specials in tools, hardware and homeware. If you're a tradesperson or you're doing a one-off job, you'll find everything from power tools to hand tools and paint to work clothing. For great weekly deals and a great selection, visit Watson Hire at Kiltoy, Letterkenny. For more information, visit the Facebook page or see watsonhire.ie.
As we move into spring, it's time that we look after what is precious to us. Are you struggling with your hearing? Your hearing is an essential part of your everyday living. Hearing is our social sense and connects you to friends and family. At Connect Hearing, we are here for you with our clinics at Courtyard Shopping Centre, Letterkenny and Joyce's Chiropody Clinic in Dunlow. Our centres are open Monday to Friday, where you can avail of our hearing test, wax removal and repair services. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Sportswear for men at Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure, Main Street, Letterkenny. Under Armour training, quarter zips, tech tees with classic training shorts in different lengths. Nike running range with quarter zips. Nike Pro t-shirts match with a classic 5-inch Nike running short. Adidas Tiro 21 range in new seasonal colours will have you looking healthy and fit. Look the part, play the part. In store or online. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
John Edwards and Sons from Elton have been growing and packing potatoes for 40 years. To celebrate, watch out for special offers in shops throughout the county this week. For a real taste of Donegal, try John Edwards and Sons potatoes. 40 years of growing.
Professor Walter McNicholas from the Sleep Disorders Unit at St Vincent's University Hospital here. Did you know 1 in 5 fatal crashes on Irish roads could be linked to driver fatigue? If you feel tired behind the wheel, pull in somewhere it's safe to do so and drink a coffee or caffeinated drink before taking a 15-minute nap. The short nap will allow time for the caffeine to take effect before you continue your journey. This should give you another hour or so on the road. Remember, stop, sip, sleep. From the Road Safety Authority.
Kilcar GAA will hold their weekly online bingo again this Sunday at 8 p.m. The jackpot now stands at €10,000. Weekly guaranteed prizes of €1,400 every Sunday. For more details, visit the website kilcargaa.com.
This is your guide to smart glasses.
Smart glasses often look like regular glasses, and some of them have built-in cameras. Even if you don't wear smart glasses, it's helpful to know what it looks like when someone who is wearing them is taking a photo or video. One way someone can activate their camera is by tapping the capture button on the frame. Another way is by using a voice command, like
take a photo.
So now you know a bit more about smart glasses.
A message from Meta and EssilorLuxottica.
Okay, our focus on this Wellness Wednesday is on liquid therapy. We're talking about it with Kieran Nugent. Is it Nugent, or how do you pronounce your name, Kieran?
Kieran Nugent, yeah,
that's
Nugent.
Me. Okay, someone has missed a letter out, but I don't know your name to be Kieran Nugent. Good to have you with us, Kieran. Right, liquid therapy, how long has it been around? How long has it been accepted to be a helpful therapy?
So we began in 2011 by offering one single program. In 2019, we were named the National Lottery Good Cause of the Year. And last year, in 2021, we finally achieved our dream of becoming the first registered charity of our kind in Ireland. So we're on the go, 11 years now?
Yeah. So can you talk to us then about the work of your charity and how it helps people?
Sure, yeah. So we offer a range of surfing and ocean-based therapy programs to young people with additional needs or anyone who might struggle to participate in mainstream surfing environment.
Yeah, and I spoke to you years ago, or one of your colleagues years ago, and people that were using, were availing of this, and they were amazed at the benefits of it.
Yeah, so we've always known ourselves that just being in the water and being surrounded by the ocean is just, it makes us feel better in our day-to-day lives, and now we're beginning to discover that the science is actually backing us up in that as well, to show that the benefits of blue space and blue space therapy is just good for the mental well-being of all of us. So we're, it's
always good for it to be broadly accepted, but you knew this from day one. You were seeing the benefits immediately.
Sure, and like as a surfer myself and a water user myself, I would have known even myself that I always feel better after being in the water or after having a good surf. So to see that translate into the kids is just it makes us all feel good.
Yeah, before we talk about the different experiences and camps that are available, like who would benefit from this?
So it's young people and their families, really. So we're talking about anybody that might have a diagnosis, the likes of anybody on the autistic spectrum, Down syndrome, people like that, and their families as well. It offers a valuable period of respite to their families as much as the young people themselves, because the young people will, they will look forward to coming to us, and that might give them a better home life for the weeks leading up to it. And then after they've been to the beach with us, they might have a bit of an afterglow effect, which will just make their life a little bit easier for them at home.
And when are the experiences in the clubs and the camps run? Is it all year round, or is it weather dependent, Kieran?
Well, obviously the water temperatures in Ireland don't really allow us to run too many programs throughout the winter months, but our season this year is we're running from May until the end of October. Our bookings for this season actually will open on Friday. That's the 15th, Good Friday actually. Anyone who's interested to available in any of our programs should head over to our website. That's www.liquidtherapy.ie. You'll find a list of our programs on there, and you should find a program which is best suited to the needs of your individual, I would say. And places do fill up quickly, so don't delay.
Is it possible too that maybe a parent or guardian or caregiver might not know what might best suit their child? Like, can they speak to someone to sort of lean on the experience you have to say that, yes, we have found that children like this benefit from that?
Yeah, and if you look at our website, all of the programs will have a little blurb on them, which details which would be suitable for the best suited to the individual. And you can always contact us on info@liquidtherapy.ie if you have any queries around that.
All right, talk to us about, for instance, the surf experience. That's actually wheelchair inclusive as well.
Yeah, so the Surf Experience is our kind of foundation program for any young people coming to the beach who might be for their first time coming to us. It would be just maybe their first taster session of getting into the water. As regards the wheelchair inclusive surf experience, again, that would be maybe somebody who's coming along for the first time who is a wheelchair user, and along with that, we will be opening Ireland's first ever inclusive surf centre this season, and that will have fully accessible changing facilities for wheelchair users.
It's pushing boundaries every year. Liquid Surf Club and the surf camps. Tell us a bit about those, or if they're the one and the same.
So the Surf Club this year actually is aimed at participants who have been coming to us for a number of years and who have grown on their own and can avail of our facilities without the need for us actually giving them one-to-one support in the water. So they might be children who have come along for many years and who have grown in their own surfing skills and their own confidence and their own ability, and who are able to step outside and just surf on their own under the guidance of us without needing full support. And the what was the other thing?
Surf camps, isn't it?
The surf camps, yeah. So that's actually a program that we started last year for the first time. It's very exciting. It's the family camp. So we have kids coming to us with their siblings, and so it just gives the whole family an opportunity to get into the water, and it gives the siblings something to converse about with their brothers and sisters.
And do you find, in your experience, is the benefit in the moment in the activity, or I think you mentioned earlier on there is an afterglow which can have benefits, or do the benefits of the liquid therapy being involved in these activities carry over, outside of the events themselves?
Oh, for sure, yeah. We see ourselves like it just gives the kids a extra bit of confidence in themselves that they're overcoming some sort of adversity. Surfing is not easy by any means, so by them just even learning the basic skills of surfing, it just gives them great confidence in their lives going forward. And it's also the social aspect as well of it, because they get to engage with their peers and they get to just grow as a person.
Yeah, so then the benefits then are from the environment, but also the discipline, the 3 Bs, all of that intertwined, and the rest is that where the real benefits are coming from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the 3 Bs are breathing, balance, and
environment, beach environment. Yeah,
beach environment. Yeah, and this thank you for that. And this was brought about by our during the pandemic. Obviously, we had a bit of downtime, so we developed our health and well-being program called ADITO, which stands for A Drop in the Ocean. And through that program, we aim to empower the kids with a range of skills and toolkits that will help them to just look after their own well-being in their day-to-day lives away from the beach environment. We teach them like coping skills and just mindfulness techniques. And yeah, the goal is that they will take these elements away with them and be able to use them in their day-to-day lives away from the beach.
Yeah, now listen, people travel from all over the place to avail of this. It's so unique here in Rosnala, isn't it, in South Donegal? So, yeah. I mean, you say that booking opens on Friday. Like, are there lots of spaces available? Like, do you think this will fill up quickly? Because there is there's a limited amount of time and resources. What's your feelings as to people's chances of getting a space, Kieran?
Yeah, so places always fill up extremely fast. This year we're hoping to engage with over 500 families from across Donegal, and indeed the entire country. We have people coming to us from as far as Cork to avail of our services. And places do fill up very quickly, so I would advise everyone to get on there as quick as they can on Friday, Good Friday, and to not be disappointed if we can't find a spot for you this year.
Okay, listen, Kieran, thank you very much indeed for that. That is Kieran Nugent, volunteer officer with Liquid Therapy. There is a climb taking place. It's called the Ergal Climb for Autism. Karen Kerwin is a member of that and joins us now. Karen, thanks for taking the call.
Good morning, Greg.
It's good to have you with us. Right, now, this climb takes place on Sunday the 1st of May at 11 a.m. to raise funds for this year's chosen charities, Jigsaw, the mental health charity, and Liquid Therapy. So why did you feel it important to choose Liquid Therapy as one of the beneficiaries?
Well, my children have been going to Liquid Therapy now for 9 years, and Molly would be one of the kids that are older, and she done the Adito program that he was talking about last year. And
have you found sorry, the line's breaking up there, Karen. Have you noticed the benefits of it yourself?
Oh God, I mean, it's nice to get to the beach. Everybody knows it's nice to get to the beach and all, but to watch all these kids that come along to Liquid Therapy, you know, to see them grow from, you know, going to the beach and muddling in the sand at the shore, and then to be getting on a board and learning to stand up on it, and they be coming in and you see them dancing on the board, and you know, just to see them grow through the years. And it's lovely for the parents to get, and you know, you meet so many families, and with a group like that, everybody, it's just one big family, you know.
Yeah.
But the benefits for the kids as well, the siblings are able to come along on different programs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my other kids have been able to come, and one of them now, he doesn't like the sand at all and won't entertain Liquid Therapy because he just has too much sensory. And but one of my girls, Molly, goes. One of the twins, Molly, goes, and Molly has severe ADD, and her concentration is so bad. I mean, she's does poorly in school, like, because of it and that. But Liquid Therapy seems to be the only thing that she's stuck with. You know, she's tried Irish dancing and gymnastics and all these things, but she gets bored with them very quickly. Liquid Therapy is the thing that seems to have, you know,
captured her interest.
Yeah,
and it's great for her, but it sounds like it's great for you and the rest of the family as well to see that, Karen.
Yeah, it is, you know, and she's grown so much through Liquid Therapy. Her confidence, her socially, you know, meeting people and getting to know everybody through the years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 15 now, and she'll be finishing up with Liquid Therapy next year because she's 16. And I'm actually hoping Molly might, you know, maybe volunteer or be able to help out with them.
Yeah, well, and use some that her love for it and interest in it, definitely. Okay, so it's clear then why you wanted to include Liquid Therapy as part of the fundraising climb. As I mentioned, it's climbing Ergal Sunday 1st of May at 11 a.m. and registration from 9:30 a.m. on the morning.
Yeah, from 9:30 we'll be there, but we don't really start till about 11. But some people come and they go on up ahead, and then they register on the way back down.
Some of these climbers can be stubborn enough; they just go on ahead.
Yeah, they just like, I'm going on ahead. I'm not waiting for nobody, you know. And it's Ergal Climb it's a great day out. McGettigans always do a free bus for us every year. We've been doing it now since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And Cahill always has a free bus going out, so anybody that wants to get a bus out, just contact Cahill. We're trying to get money to get out these the surf place that they're talking about. It's nearly finished. We need some more stuff to make some toilets and some changing rooms. So if there's anybody out there would like to donate anything, we'd love it. But that's what the climb is for. We're trying to get some money to finish off the surf centre, and hopefully we'll have a great
Great turnout. Oh,
2022.
yeah, indeed. So in terms of registration and the fundraising element of it, that's you turn up on the morning. Isn't that how that's done?
Yeah, well, we'll be having a registration now next week. Prior to that, some people like to just get it done before the morning, But yeah, we always do a registration on the morning. And yeah, it's a great day out.
Okay.
We have ice creams, tea and coffees, all there.
All right, Karen, listen, thanks for your time this morning. I wish you every success with that. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care. Right, now Margot said, good morning, Greg. The Port Road is between the Dry Arch roundabout and the station roundabout. I know I should know that, and I'm so sorry. I suspected it, but I didn't have the confidence to go through with it. Margot goes on to say the current roadworks are taking place between the Dry Arch and the Polestar roundabout. Your previous contributor is correct when they say the only work being done is building of footpaths while the main road falls into further disrepair. Well, listen, as a road user, as someone who uses that road, I find it very frustrating. It's clearly damaging to vehicles. I've not seen much like that before, especially as the main artery into a town where the focus is on footpaths and the road seemingly is falling into disrepair. I've tried to push it along by speaking to local councillors, kind of given up at this stage. It is what it is. Presumably there's a programme of works there and that they're going to get it done on time, but it is what it is. Okay, any more views on that or anything else for that matter? Keep the calls, comments coming into us, 086 60 25,000, WhatsApps and texts, or call 074 91 25,000.
The Villa Rose Hotel, Ballybuffet and Anchorage Gidor present the Dublin City Ramblers Easter weekend, April 16th and 17th. The Villa Rose will also host Mac Fleetwood, the ultimate Fleetwood Mac tribute band, on April 23rd. All tickets €20 each. Telephone or see hotel websites for full details.
Whether it's a smart meter to better manage your energy, plugging into a greener type of fuel, or something bigger, with Bord Gosh Energy, you can go your kind of green. Discover more at boardgoshenergy.ie. Bord Gosh Energy guarantees that 100% of the electricity supplied to you under green plans is sourced from renewable generation, in accordance with the CRU Green Source product verification process. 10% green gas will be purchased in Europe from Guarantee of Origin certificates for green gas.
Looking for a loan from a lender who cares? No matter how long it has been. At all Inishowen Credit Union branches, we welcome all members back to chat about our large range of loans for cars, holidays, home improvements and more. Have you had your credit reunion? Membership of Inishowen Credit Union is open to everyone who lives or works in the Inishowen Peninsula. For more details, log on to inishowencu.ie or call us on 074 9361017. Loans are subject to approval, terms and conditions apply. Inishowen Credit Union is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Are you passionate about customer service? Then Concentrix wants to hear from you. Right now, Concentrix is recruiting work-at-home customer service advisors to join our growing global business in Donegal. If you're looking for an exciting opportunity where you can earn, learn and grow, apply today by searching Donegal at jobs.concentrix.com.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
Deborah on Facebook says Tom and the guys at Liquid Therapy should be congratulated as they've brought so much enjoyment and self-confidence to so many children and their families. Such a deserving cause. Well done, Karen. I want to say also, by the way, a very happy 90th birthday to Edith Doherty. She's in Beach Hill Manor Nursing Home. From all the staff and residents, a very happy birthday to you, Edith. I hope you have a lovely day. A caller says, why can't the Army do the pat-downs at Dublin Airport to free up security staff? At least then airport security can do scanning and Army do the pat-downs. No training would be needed for the Army for this. Right, I suppose there is that. I just got a call to say about, I'm not sure, you see, they're doing the security. It's not just for the for Dublin Airport. Obviously, it's for the planes, maybe registered in different jurisdictions or flying to different jurisdictions. I'm not sure if it's just simply a case of putting more personnel in there, and just because someone's in an army uniform, presuming that they have sort of the authority to do it correctly. I'm not questioning whether they would or not, but I presume it's not just quite as simply as switching in and out staff. Maybe not. That being said, look at. it's 3.5. You're there for 3.5 hours. I mean, on the wider scale of things, it's probably a bit of a nightmare. But it's 3.5 hours. You could be driving through Ballabufey and Stranraer. It could take you 50 minutes to get through. It is an airport. It is there mostly, I think, to facilitate people going away on holiday. Just leave a bit earlier. I know that sounds maybe a bit harsh. I don't mean it like that. But also, Derry, Knock Airport, Ireland West Airport, through them in a shot if you can get flights out of there, particularly Ireland West. I just got a call to say about traffic. I've just got a call to say about traffic. It's bumper to bumper in the Twin Towns, causing awful delays. Please, can these works not be carried out during the night hours? Thank you, Greg. We don't really tend to do that much. And if we do, I don't know how quickly things progress. It would make an awful lot of sense, but maybe the contracts would be more expensive. Maybe there'd be an unwillingness to do that. And maybe with people residing close to the roadworks, that would cause upset as well. So there's probably many different reasons why that can't happen. A caller says, I'm getting calls all week, all different numbers, saying they are from Amazon. Okay. The biggest cause of pollution in towns is not burning smoky fuels, it's chip vans and takeaways. Where does it stop? People are being dictated to and are being told they now can't sell their turf. People need to take to the streets and stand against this. I think there's two things going on there, right? Firstly, you can monitor the air quality in the likes of Letterkenny, and around about rush hour or when people light their fires in the winter, you can see the damaging particles peak. It's not really disputable. It's there at those times. You can see the correlation there between traffic and the poor air quality, and also when people might be inclined to light fires. As I say, it's there, it's evident. That doesn't mean that that's being caused by burning turf either, right? So the two issues are kind of the same, but I don't think it strengthens the argument an awful lot. I mean, it's clear burning smoky fuel in a town environment is very damaging to people who have respiratory illness. It doesn't necessarily cause asthma, like a caller said earlier on, that they live in the town and none of them have ever had asthma. That's fantastic. But if you and many people in the northwest, more so I think than other places, are prone to respiratory illness, and if you are, it's just indisputable that in a town environment, the cars and the burning of smoky fuels damages people's health. That's just the way it is. But that doesn't mean that gifting turf should be banned either. Do you know what I mean? What can you do when your engineer won't answer your texts, emails or phone calls? We need to get our report back to resend it back into the council. Well, that shouldn't be happening either. Right, okay, Business Matters is on the way. We're going to get an overview of the Kinahan gang developments, all of that between now and 12. So stay right where you are.
Let's call out his name. Mike Denver in concert with guests Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine at the Millennium Forum Derry on Saturday, April 23rd. Tickets at the theatre box office. That's Mike Denver in concert at the Millennium Forum with Philomena Begley, Ray Lynham and Brendan Shine on Saturday, April 23rd.
At Centra, we want to make your mornings extra special with our Inspired by Centra breakfast deal. Mix and match from succulent sausages, crispy rashers, award-winning corn-fed eggs and freshly squeezed orange juice. Any 3 for €6 until the 20th of April. Centra. Live every day.
It's the Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring half-price sale. Get up to 50% off everything in store. All kitchen and bathroom tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware, all cladding. Everything's reduced. It's our biggest ever sale. The Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring half-price sale. Stores nationwide. Sale now on.
Hop on down to Letterkenny Shopping Centre for everything you need for Easter this April. Easter is a very special family holiday, so stock up on all the goodies you need to relax, enjoy and make memories with friends and family. With top fashion brands, free parking and with over 35 stores to choose from, Letterkenny Shopping Centre has it all this Easter. For more, see letterkennysc.com.
O'Neill Sportswear massive warehouse clearance sale. T-shirts, tracksuit bottoms, half zips, hoodies and jackets all reduced to clear starting from £6. When it's gone, it's gone. Open from 10 a.m. Wednesday the 20th to Saturday the 23rd of April. Open from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. Sunday the 24th of April. The sale will take place at O'Neill Sportswear Warehouse off the Melmount Road roundabout, Strabane.
Cullen's Fun Fair will be in Ebrington Square, Derry, Londonderry from Friday the 15th of April to Sunday the 24th of April. See Cullen's Amusements Facebook for Easter opening hours. Wednesday the 20th of April is Carnival Crazy Day. All rides reduced from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come along and enjoy some family fun with Ireland's largest touring fun fair, Cullen's, at Ebrington Square, Derry, Londonderry from Friday the 15th to Sunday the 24th of April.
Okay, very welcome back to the programme. Kieran O'Donnell's going to be joining us very shortly for Business Matters, so stay tuned for that. Just on the roads, the traffic is bumper to bumper in Ballabafay. There'll be a lifetime doing this work as they seem to only be allowed to do a certain amount each day. Hopefully not. Another High Greg Letterkenny, they believe, is a disaster to get around at the moment, and they've stopped going into it and go to Derry instead. Of course, people wouldn't like to hear that. All right, it's time for this.
Business Matters in association with the Faculty of Business at ATU Donegal. Looking for a career in financial services? Consider the Level 9 MA in Governance, Compliance and Data Protection. Take the next step in your career and contact the Exec Ed Coordinator on 9186206 or email execed, execed @lyit.ie today.
All right, okay, right. Well, it's not the LYT anymore. We might have to update those things, perhaps. Kieran O'Donnell, presenter of the Business Matters podcast, joins us. Good morning to you, Kieran.
Good morning, Greg.
How are you keeping?
I'm good, Greg.
How was your week?
That's been good, Good.
Do anything interesting?
I've stood in St Michael's, stood at the bridge in Dunfanny on Sunday watching St John's, and St Michael's in the St John's first league game, so it was cold and blowy, but very entertaining, so I enjoyed it.
How did it go?
St John's got over the line.
Of course they did. Yeah. Right, okay. Now let's start with some business news, Kieran, and we'll start with a weaving course launch.
Yes.
It's good to see a focus actually.
Yeah,
on
we
this
mentioned
more
this a few
traditional
times.
stuff, yeah.
We mentioned this a few times, Greg, the build up to the course being sort of filled up and running there in the last number of months. So the first certified weaving group in the country has been launched in Kilcare. It was developed by Donegal ETB following consideration to support the preservation of Donegal weaving as an indigenous craft that existed for centuries. So 8 pioneering students have signed up for the 41-week course that will help them develop the skills and craftsmanship of a Donegal weaver. The full-time traineeship has been developed by Donegal ETB through its further education and training service and is certified by the Scottish Qualifications Authority.
Nice one. Right, now the council is to get 2.3 million in funding for housing adaptation grants. That seems pretty much around about the mark that normally seems to be allocated.
Yeah, Donegal is set to receive 2.3 million in funding for housing adaptation grants for older people and people with disabilities, which is an increase of 346,000 on last year's allocation. Grants of up to €30,000 are available to assist disabled people in carrying out necessary work to make a house more suitable for their needs. Additionally, grants of up to €8,000 are available to assist older people to have necessary repairs or improvements carried out on their homes, and grants of up to €6,000 are available for mobility aids. So the fund provides 80% of exchequer funding through the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage, with the remaining 20% in funds coming from Donegal County Council.
All right, we know there was significant intervention to assist businesses during the pandemic. We have a figure for that now.
Yeah, €55 million in financial support was provided by Donegal County Council to Donegal businesses during the pandemic. 24.3 million came in the form of Restart Grants 2020. 14.9 million was through the Commercial Race Waivers 2020, while 12 million was via Commercial Race Waivers 2021. Leo supports accounted for 2.2 million, while the remaining 0.6 million came from Small Business Assistance Scheme for COVID.
Now, I wonder when Lonely Planet are putting together their guides, how extensive their research is. I mean, how many pubs did they visit, or how did might
you
get
do
them
wonder
on an
how they
interview at
correlate
some
all
stage.
information.
Now they, in fairness to them, they have hit the mark with 2 of our pubs, but you just wonder how
Good
that
question,
all
yeah.
works. Yeah, but anyway, what's the good news?
Yeah, Chachuri Big and Gweedore and the Rusty Mackerel in Teelan have both been included among the top 20 pubs in Ireland by international travel guide publisher and website Lonely Planet. The guide says Ireland is home to more than 7,000 pubs, many of which share food, are open all day and late into the night, and host unbeatable Irish music sessions.
Right, decent return, 10% out of the 32 counties.
Yeah.
We're staying with the licensing trade, a familiar place for many in the South Donegal area, up for grabs.
Yeah, Kilcare House in Kilcare has been placed on the market with a guide price of $495,000. The premises comprise a bar, lounge, kitchen and a 3-bedroom living accommodation upstairs. and the sale is being looked after by Michael O'Flaherty of Castle Estate Agents.
Would you ever get into that business? I mean, the notion of it sounds good, you know.
Look, I've worked
socialising.
I worked for a long time when I was younger, Greg, part-time, and when I was at school and that, and I enjoyed it, but the whole game has changed completely.
It's a tough gig.
Then an award, no.
Right, okay. Right, that is just a rundown of some of the news in the business world. So let's talk about the focus of this week's podcast, Kieran.
Yeah, my guest this week is Paddy Logue, owner of Logue's Bar in Cranford and chairperson of the Mulroy Drive Tourism Group. Paddy began working in the family business while still at school. He was assistant manager in the Kerrygart Hotel for 8 years before taking up a full-time position at Logue's at Cranford in the late 70s. In recent years, Paddy has concentrated more on the food sector. Construction of a new coffee dock and 50-seater restaurant around the famous Old Forge is at an advanced stage, and both are scheduled to open in June. Paddy is also one of the leading figures behind the Mulroy Drive Tourism Group, established in 2012 to assist businesses in the area and help create the potential for new businesses to set up along the striking Mulroy Drive. Paddy said he sees great potential for the whole area along Mulroy Bay.
The scenery all along the bay, and it's just magnificent. And most of the scenery on the Wild Atlantic Way is it's all brilliant, but it's rugged terrain, whereas Mulroy Bay is an inlet. It's like a lake in the middle. It's an open sea, but it is like a lake, and it's totally different. And I mean, it's suitable for the like of activity sports. Like we have Eco Atlantic now doing the canoeing all the time, and it's the possibilities are amazing. Like, and we have 3 horse riding stables dotted around the bay. Realistically, weather-wise in Donegal, when we're looking for tourism, we can't promise the weather, but we have to provide other services for them. If it is a bad day, that they can go and pass the day. And like we have the Rockhull Caravan Park in Kerrykeel with an activity centre there. We have 3 riding stables. We have Eco Atlantic on the bay. We have a dive centre in Kerrygart, and they take you out diving, and they have a pool there to teach you to dive. And we have dive sites in the bay, and it's all on our website there. You can check all the fathoms and everything, the depths. So everything's there for you to take if you do come on holidays.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, Kieran, isn't it? It's not just about an individual business or what it has to offer. It's part of the whole package, the whole holiday experiencing, and you don't have to be travelling from Galway or Kerry or wherever, you know, you just a wee bit outside the area, you get a very different experience.
Yeah, and I suppose in that area, Greg, you know, when he listed out where the places to go and the things to do and the activities, and he mentioned you don't need good weather to come on holiday in Donegal. I suppose that's the old thing. In relation to the group that Paddy's part of, they missed out on being part of the Wide Atlantic Way, so rather than do nothing, they took a proactive approach. They got up and running, and in the last number of weeks there were 10 new viewing points were unveiled. So it's very much people helping themselves and trying to promote each other and trying to promote the area in a very unselfish way. And
any word of all expenses paid invite to the grand reopening of the new 50-seater restaurant? Was that mentioned? Well, I was just thinking
Shane Barrett hasn't made contact yet after last week, but I'm sure he'd be looking to get them
slim pickings, isn't it?
Contact with yourself.
I've decided to just, you know, forget about my own pride. And it's not working.
I'll ask Paddy if you can come along with me.
Right, so you have a good long chat with Paddy about all things very business, much, all about himself as well.
Paddy's a very interesting character. He's seen huge changes during the years. Obviously, during the pandemic, he took a long think about what he wants to do. There's an Old Forge there, which was built by his grandparents. They came from Scotland 100 years ago. Hundreds and hundreds of horses were shed there. And that's going to be a feature now of the new renovated and refurbished Logue's of Cranford, which is a very well known location in that part of the woods.
Okay, listen, you can get the full interview with Paddy Logue available now on our website, highlandradio.com. You can podcast it on Spotify and iTunes as well. And also, it's on air, Kieran.
Yeah, it goes out after the 6 o'clock news, Greg, on Sunday evening.
And what if anyone wants to get in touch with you, some feedback on the show, suggestions for items going forward, maybe they want to be featured, how do they get in contact with you?
Just drop me an email, please, businessmatters@highlandradio.com.
All right, you must be pushing the ton now, are you? What's the...
87, I think.
87 you think, but you know fine rightly it's 87. All right, keep her lids. Listen, Kieran, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate it, as always.
Good morning, Greg.
All right, that's Kieran O'Donnell there. He's the presenter of Highland Radio's Business Matters podcast. As I say, it's available for you on all the platforms I mentioned there. And Kieran will be back with us next Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, next Wednesday with the latest business news and also previewing the next edition of that podcast. Back after these.
Walk the line once again with the multi-award winning Johnny Cash and June Carter tribute show Cash Returns. Celebrate the music of the Man in Black at the Ballard Arts Centre Ballybuffet on Saturday 23rd of April. Limited tickets are available now at the box office. That's Cash Returns live at the Ballard Arts Centre Ballybuffet Saturday 23rd of April.
If you've got magic moments or great memories captured on your smartphone, now is a great time to have them printed at mcgee's.ie. Simply upload your favourite photos, choose your size and finish, and McGee's will take care of the rest, with the results delivered to your door. Prices are from just 12 cents, and there's also creative options available. Preserve your memories today at mcgee's.ie.
All ready for next year? Why not make sure of it with SEAT? Trade up to a 221 SEAT SUV and you'll be offered PCP finance from 1.9% and a 3-year service plan for just $9.99 a month. With the bold new Arona, the stylish new Ateca, or the outstanding 7-seater Tarraco, we're all ready. Are you? Trade up to your 221 SEAT SUV at DMG Motors, Claw Road, Donegal Town. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland, trading as SEAT Financial Services. Subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit seat.ie/221 for further information.
Oakfield Park is now open, with over 100 acres of mature parklands and lush landscapes to explore. Walks, mazes, gardens and sculptures. Take a ride on Ireland's largest heritage railway and refuel in Buffer's restaurant. New to the park is an educational nature centre and a self-propelled rail cart. Come along to Oakfield's Easter Storybook event from Friday the 15th to Monday the 18th of April. An Easter magic event like no other, with storybook characters, puppet shows, storytelling, arts, crafts and more. Oakfield Park, the secret jewel in the heart of Donegal. Open every Wednesday to Sunday, 12 to 6. Visit oakfieldpark.com.
Declan Nerney live in concert with special guests Louise Morrissey and John Hogan. Easter Sunday, 17th of April at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny. Tickets on sale now from the Clanry Hotel reception on 074 91 243 69. Come and join us for a super night's entertainment.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Gatwick's back. You can now fly daily to London Gatwick with Aer Lingus, the perfect gateway to explore South London. Ireland West Airport. You're flying.
Now, let's look at this weather forecast. The mist, fog and low cloud has cleared most places at this stage to give us some sunny spells, though it will linger near some coasts. Now, while many areas will stay dry, there'll be a few showers scattered about, becoming isolated later in the day. It'll become mild, with highest temperatures of 13 to 16 degrees in light southwesterly breezes. Now, just a reminder for you, if you want to get to sunnier climes and you haven't yet entered our holiday competition, it's all going to be wrapped up tomorrow morning at about 11:30. You've got until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning to enter. It's €10,000 to spend on a holiday of a lifetime or numerous holidays of a year, you know yourself, and €5,000 cash for you as well, so you can use that as spending money or to do up your bathroom or whatever. So entries close tomorrow at 11 a.m. If you haven't bought your ticket, please go to highlandradio.com. Tickets are 1 for €10, 6 for 50, 10 for 80. Good luck if you are entering, and it'll all be done and dusted, as I say, tomorrow at 11:30. Right, Stephen Breen is crime editor with the Irish Sun and co-author of The Cartel. He joins us now. I suppose, Stephen, before we get into the nitty-gritties of it, there was this sort of Irish story and then sort of a different international approach to particularly Daniel Kinahan. Did you think a day like yesterday would ever come?
No, absolutely not, Craig. In my 20-odd years reporting on crime and working in the newspaper industry, I was taken aback when the announcement was made yesterday, just a few minutes into the press conference when you had the American ambassador to Ireland, revealing publicly that 3 individuals, Daniel Kinahan, his brother Christy Jr. and his father Christopher Sr., were now the subject of a $5 million reward for information leading to their arrest, but also information leading to the disruption of their business interests. The Americans had issued a statement just before, a number of hours before the press conference, talking about economic sanctions also being placed on the 3 individuals, but also 4 other associates as well. And that was quite striking news as well. But when the reward details were mentioned, it's quite a stunning development. But I think the guards were at pains to point out yesterday that it was about the first phase of the investigation. But I think it also showed, because of the American involvement, the extent of the international cooperation between the Gardaí and other law enforcement agencies. So quite a stunning development, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and before we talk more about that and its implications and Daniel Kinahan and what this might mean for him and the rest of his gang, I mean, we know it, don't we, in this country? But can you give us a brief overview of the Kinahan gang's history?
Yeah, well, look, they started off. Christy Kinahan Sr. Was someone who was involved in fraud and other criminal activities, but he moved into the drugs industry because he could see the profits that were being made by other drugs gangs, especially in the inner city areas of Dublin in the late 80s. His first venture into the drugs trade ended in failure because he was caught with heroin in an apartment block in Clontarf in North Dublin and was subsequently jailed for 6 years. But I think he utilised that time when he was in prison to learn 4 languages, to also study economics as well. But when he came out of prison in the 90s, he moved to Spain. And I think it's during his time in Spain that's where he cultivated these contacts with very serious players within the world of organised crime, those from Morocco, those from Holland, from Spain and Far East, and also South America. So over the years, they built up this huge network, and they were known in southern Spain as the Irish Mafia. And in 2008, we saw that Paddy Doyle was one of their henchmen. He was murdered. And then I think the Spanish started taking an interest in them because of the fact that people were being killed and it was bad for tourism. And the Spanish then launched a huge investigation, and it was a huge surveillance operation. And when we were doing the research for the book, we were able to obtain the Spanish investigation file, and it pointed to this group being involved in weapons training, being involved in drugs trafficking, weapons importation as well, but also undergoing anti-surveillance techniques and talking about different measures that they could take to stay one step ahead of the authorities. And then it just grew, and with the money that was coming in from the drug shipments, that was used then to form many companies and businesses and invested in property empire. Even Christy Kinahan got involved in the cement industry. They even looked at importing chicken feet from China. There was everything about an angle and trying to invest their money in places like Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, Panama, Liechtenstein. So it just built into this huge narcotics criminal gang, but that was because of the contacts that they made and the logistics and resources at their disposal. But as that grew, so did their associates, and people from Ireland were involved, but also people from Morocco. People like Nafel Fassi was from Morocco and was caught in Dublin in 2016. So it just went on to become a major, recognised as a super cartel because of the individuals they were working with. It just became huge.
Now, I mean, obviously I'm skipping over an awful lot here because we can't take up too much of your time here, but is the Regency shooting when things, is that really when we stepped onto the path that's led us to today?
Yeah, I think so. Look, there were investigations into the Kinahan cartel. Obviously, in 2010, the Spanish and the Gardaí targeted them under Operation Shovel. Some charges were brought against them, but some of those have taken a very long time to come before the Spanish courts. Some have now been dispensed with. The guards in South Inner City, Dublin, had an Operation GoldenEye targeting key members, but that lost a bit of resources because of the recession. But I think following the Regency, and because of the level of violence that we witnessed on the streets here, I think there was a determination. I think the state had to respond in a robust fashion to do something about the threat, because they were killing a lot more people than other criminal groups. They killed 18 people in such a short space of time, so they posed a serious threat, and I think that's when the state decided to dismantle them and disrupt their activities. In 2018, when Drew Harris, the Garda Commissioner, took over, he was briefed on the threat posed by the Kinahan grouping, and that's when the negotiations with the Americans and other law enforcement agencies stepped up. And I think over the years, we have seen how key players within that group are now behind bars. 7 are currently doing time for murder. Others are doing time for directing the activities of an organised crime gang, drugs, weapons. 20 million worth of drugs have been seized, 7 million in cash. So there has been a huge response from the state.
Now, before we talk, I ask you about sort of Daniel Kinahan and how he's, you could say, laundering or tried to launder his reputation. In terms of the actual activities of the gang actively in the drug scene. Has that been completely disrupted, or is it suspected to be ongoing?
Well, it's been ongoing, so that they're still classified as an organised criminal grouping who are engaged in trafficking weapons, trafficking drugs, and also in murder. So it would be ongoing. They are still a gang who have many tentacles and many associates in Dublin who they work closely with. They have the capabilities and the resources to arrange shipments of drugs into Ireland, and even after the Regency, and despite the feud taking place and the spotlight being firmly on them, that the guards still seized 20 million worth of drugs that they have connected to this gang. They seized a massive amount of arms as well, 48 weapons seized too. So it shows you that they are still in business, even though they are in Dubai. They still have people who are operating on their behalf. And just a few weeks ago, one of their key players, Thomas Kavanagh, was jailed for 21 years in the UK, and that was for masterminding a 36 million euro drug shipments between 2016 and 2017. So again, that was in the middle of the feud where they were killing people. They were still arranging shipments into Ireland.
Now, there was a strange thing going on. The likes of yourself and your colleagues writing extensively on Daniel Kinahan. At the same time, he had managed to get himself very high up in boxing circles. So you would read this stuff in our papers here, and at the same time, we'd look at the likes of IFL TV and other sort of online boxing journalistic kind of outfits, sponsored by the likes of Queensberry Rules or Matchroom or whatever. So to some extent, I'm not sure how probing they could be in their questions, but we knew everything that was going on here. But out there you had the likes of Billy Joe Saunders and others, and defending him, saying he's a great guy, he looks after the boxers. Frank Warren working with him, as I say, Matchroom working with him, Arum working with him, him being lauded in the UAE, in India, and it was like two different universes running at the same time.
It was indeed. It was bizarre to see this huge media campaign being launched by Daniel Kinahan to distance himself from the Regency. First of all, we had a short film based on the Regency Hotel, painting Daniel Kinahan as being the victim of a state-sponsored initiative to kill him. Then you had a rap song about him. We also had a book placed online about the true story behind the Regency. So that was all part of an orchestrated campaign for him to legitimise himself and to paint himself as a legitimate businessman. And it also stemmed from support from Tyson Fury on social media, other boxers, as you just mentioned there, Greg, who were also supporting him. And it was him distancing himself from any element of organised crime and trying to paint himself as a key player and a power broker in the world of boxing. But I remember speaking to Frank Warren before, and his words to me were, we published this story, that he's a man of honour. And when I asked, Frank Warren about, the links to the ongoing feud and the devastation that was being caused, it was like, this is a media-driven conspiracy.
Two newspapers in Ireland and some rogue guard trying to ruin this man, or something like that. That's the way, the kind of impression internationally it was going on. So, also, there has to be an ego here. If he had have disappeared to the Middle East and not tried to get his profile the way it is, we probably wouldn't be where we are now.
I don't think he's been very clever at all. I think he's trying to be clever. I think the ego plays a massive part here, where he has probably instructed the key players in the boxing industry, in the boxing world, to publicly back him, publicly support him, people like Bob Arum. But that's now backfiring. Once you have the Americans involved, and the Americans restricting his access to financial companies and banking institutions in the United States, who operate on a global basis as well, I think that's a game changer. And you even have Bob Arum saying today in an interview that he won't do business with Kinahan. Arum previously spoke about how this was perhaps Daniel Kinahan the focus of Irish media. Do
you remember the time around that big summit they were having? And every single comment, including a rum, was about how, if it wasn't for Daniel Kinahan, if it wasn't for Dan. So that's quite a shift. And I see an awful lot of tweets and stuff being deleted. In the last minute I have with you, and there's so much more we could get into, but the net is closing here, because the refuge of Dubai, how long will that be available to him? Dubai have handed other people over, particularly when the United States are involved. Is there refuge there for him any longer? And there's nowhere else he can go. He'll be back in Ireland this year, won't he?
I think it could take a number of months. I think this stage of the investigation is about intelligence. It's about gathering evidence, with the ultimate objective is to bring him before a court with the possibility of charging him with directing the activities of an organised crime gang. I think he's going to be extremely paranoid, because that's a huge amount of money for one of his associates to maybe come forward and work with the authorities and telling the authorities what they know about Daniel Kinahan. I think he's going to lose friends in the boxing industry, people like Bob Arum. That's already started. I think his name is now toxic. It wasn't before among many in the boxing industry, whereas the people of Ireland and the media and society knew what the Kinahan name meant in terms of the devastation and the innocent lives that have been linked to that organised crime group. So I think it's a game changer. And when the Americans get involved, there's more power and resources behind those, and they have more influence on the Dubai authorities that they could say, we want him out.
Yeah, and boxing has to clean itself up too, to the point whereby you can't ban a manager because of their background, but it's okay if they're an advisor. This is going to have shockwaves through that sport, I think. Because let's not forget, the reason why we haven't seen Katie Taylor and others fight in this country can be directly linked to the fact that the Gardaí won't okay it because of what happened at the Regency. So it's been very damaging to sport in this country as well, not to mention the lives lost, etc. Stephen, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, Stephen Breen there, crime editor with the Irish Sun, co-author of The Cartel. Back tomorrow morning with the Friday panel on a Thursday. It's the Thursday panel, the entertainment slot, and so much more besides. John Breslin's coming up next after the news at 12.